live show this evening, and we are so blessed because we have two guys who are upstairs fighting a moment ago, but they look okay right now. Joey, Shimizu, it is great to have you here.
Thank you, Phil.
You know what? I see that you and I have so much in common, especially with regard to travel.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I love it.
It's amazing. We've traveled a lot of the same areas and want to see a lot of the same things that are on our list, right, for the future.
So we'll talk about travel and everything else. And Brian, you have become a fan favorite of Freedman Adventures, mostly because the host of the show sucks so bad that anybody looks good. No, you are fantastic. Your knowledge is. Hey, where's your thing?
I actually just, I didn't want to.
What? Why? You should put it up there.
There you go.
There. Can we see that? Yeah, almost see it. That's all right. All right. Anyway, go ahead, Brian. You are a fan favorite because your knowledge of sport fishing is so vast. You have an answer for any question, of course, that I don't have. And it's really great to have you.
You know,
here.
it's a pleasure to be back. I appreciate you always wanting to have me back, and of course your viewers for liking my appearances and what I have to offer, albeit it's probably not as much as this guy's going to offer tonight.
Joey, yeah. I mean, we've got a lot to talk about, the history about Tady Lures, and we just really have a lot to chat with you about. First of all, have you ever seen a season like this?
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, the half-day boats are getting Dorado, three-quarter-day boats. I mean, they're catching, hundreds and hundreds of them.
And seeing thousands. That's the amazing thing.
And I think they caught a marlin the other day.
The Pursuit had one yesterday.
I know. So it's like, what's next, right? Maybe Wahoo.
I'm telling you.
They were here a couple of years ago, so possibly.
Tommy Holland is an old captain, and he says, I guarantee a blue marlin up here because there's too much feed. They love to munch on Dorado. So that's a possibility. Let me read a couple comments here before it gets too far out of control. There's a whole bunch of people saying hi. Dan Smith says hello to you guys and to the Freedman Adventures family. Dan, thank you. AK, the Sack, let's get this party started. We're doing it. Good evening, everybody. Travis Bright. Thank you three for being here tonight. I thank you two gentlemen for sure. Dan Smith says hello, crew. Dennis Leggett says hello. AKA the Sack says Taddy 45. Man, it's weird. I've been hearing that for about 55 years.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, it's
You got the number right, too. 55 years. Just about, right?
Almost. Well, actually, we're 1960.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, more than that. I was born in 58. And so, I mean, I remember being on the half-day boat Redondo Special, and you had to have a Taddy 45. Did you know, or did you remember a guy by the name of Yo's Fishing Tackle?
Of course.
Yeah, I fished with him. He would show up. Somebody corrected me and told me what day it was. I think it was Sundays. Every Sunday he would show up on the Searcher. And I was working on the Searcher in those days. And I learned so much from him because he was such a fantastic angler and a great guy. I really, really love. So I imagine he threw a few Taddy 45s in his day.
I would think so. But his legacy still lives. Me and Brian just saw a gentleman outside. He had two original Yo's. Three original Yo's rods right outside.
What a small world. I didn't even know that.
You know how you could tell, I think it was Dad who wrapped them? It's the writing, the style of writing. And when we look at it, we go, oh yeah, those are the original ones right there, three of them.
Yeah, there's a guy up there right now. Hello from Kim, Dan Smith. Dan Smith is in San Diego. He's a huge fan of ours. He is such a great person. And Kim, his wife, we love them. Devotion says, Yo's in Gardena. He remembers it very, very well. Do you guys mind if I thank a couple sponsors real quick? And then we'll jump back in. And folks, can you hear us all okay? Because this microphone, we might move or whatever. I think everybody can hear us. Let me start with Opsin Fluorocarbon, www.opsinusa.com. Put in FA at checkout, get a free gift, and a handwritten love note from owner Greg Brown. Sometimes he gets a little mushy, If your wife reads it, you might get in trouble. But Greg will send you something right away. Daiwa, of course, is our rod and reel sponsor. We couldn't be more thrilled than to have Daiwa on board with us. They are with us at every turn, and it's great to have them on board. Blacktail Hooks, Sky over there in Hawthorne, I think it is. Yeah, Sky's over in Hawthorne. Great to have him on board. And, of course, 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro. If I don't talk really nice about the landing, they'll throw me out of this studio. So Come on, Jeff. Jeff Yeoman's. We have a studio audience tonight.
Yeah.
Jeff Yeoman's from the 540 Slingers Club. It's great to have him here. 22nd Street Landing. You got the Amigo. You got the Freedom. You've got the Monte Carlo, the Native Son, the Pursuit, who had a Marlin yesterday, as you mentioned. Incredible stuff here. 310-832-8304. That's another number I've been dialing since probably the 70s, you know? It's wild how long. Malahini Sport Fishing, my good friend Bill Wilkerson, who had 310 Dorado yesterday. Limits, U.S. limits are 31 guys. Island Fishing Tackle over in Carson, California, Sam De La Torre. Everybody loves Sam. He does a lot of tackle tips for us. Do you know Sam?
Absolutely.
He's a great guy, isn't he?
Yep.
Super great guy. Big Fish Bait and Tackle in the beautiful city of Seal Beach, California. Ventura Sport Fishing. Tucker McCombs. He does such a great job. He's a great fisherman and has a work ethic second to none.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very good fish.
Got a lot of fish on his boat.
My God, that guy. I met him I'd never met him before, and he came in and did a podcast. I don't know about him, but I just hit it off with him because he's got a funny sense of humor and he knows his stuff. And so, yeah, from that time
catch
on.
fish anywhere.
I know,
right?
in a
I fished
puddle,
with him
right?
On the Outrider, and I mean, he can catch fish with his boat up in Ventura. He can catch fish with his boat here, and he can catch fish with his boat down in San Diego.
Yeah, right. Right, and I'm guessing that, you know, he made the decision not to go to Seaforth and to stay in Ventura.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that was a hard decision because he's thinking, you know, San Diego, God, I mean, they were catching sea bass up until just a little while ago. And now, you know, just the other day, that 315-pound
That little
bluefin.
tiny bluefin.
Joseph Martinez caught that
Jeez.
fish. He
That was
came
up
on.
north?
Yeah.
That was on
my
the.
goodness.
He
Yeah,
came
holy
and
cow.
Joseph's on our trip tomorrow night. We're on the Amigo tomorrow night,
wow.
and so you know, just crazy stuff, man. Really, really crazy. Morning briefing. I mentioned that because we had over 10,000 people tune in the other day, and one of them was Jeff Yeomans, wasn't it?
Yes, sir.
You better. I'm telling you. So morning briefing is going really well. Fish Taco Chronicle magazine. I've got to show this, or Sean Arnold will whine and whine and whine. And he'll say, you know, I'm giving you a nice ad in Fish Taco, and I never see my... There you go, Sean.
Yep.
It's right there for you. All right, and finally, that's it, I think. I think we're good right now. So let's talk a little bit. I don't know where to start with you because you just got back from Brazil, and I was fascinated by all of that. I think that was great. But let's talk Tady Lures. Let's start there.
Okay.
Because the history, that's something I'm interested in. I actually just kind of went through Wikipedia today to find out how long have human beings been using lures to catch fish. And it's been millenniums, I guess. You know, people looked at the fish and thought, how can I, you know, what can I do? So now here we are, 2022. We're still doing it.
Yep.
And Tady Lures has been around since 1960, I think you said?
1960 officially, yeah. We were making lures before that in the backyard, you know, but officially started in a small garage in downtown LA on 4th Street. And from there we moved to Bell Gardens, and then from there, 1990, I believe, we moved to City of Industry.
Wow.
So we've grown quite a bit over the years.
And the first lures that were made, I mean, do you know anything about?
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting story.
Yeah.
So back then, everything was recycled, you know, and my grandfather, the inventor of Tady Lures, he owned a motel in downtown LA, and what they would do would take the brass strap that goes on your stairs, you know, to protect the edge. They would take that brass strap, cut it into, you know, a triangle, a diamond shape, if you will, hand bend it, hand stamp it, and that was the original Tady Lures.
Yeah.
Was made out of, you know, recycled brass.
Crazy.
Yeah, and so that's kind of a neat one, you know, because nothing in those days went to waste, you know, and frankly, you know, maybe, you know, money was tight, so
Of course.
you just recycled, you just used what you had available.
Yeah.
And it's
Squeeze that last drop out of the toothpaste.
absolutely
everything,
yeah,
right?
Everything,
Yeah.
yeah. So you know, and including the paint, you know, it was paint from the apartment or the motel.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's kind of where we started. But yeah, it was 1960 when we officially started.
They're saying you're a little bit. Oh, sorry, there we go.
I'm
Get
sorry.
that mic. That's all right.
So yeah, 1960 is when we started, and it was all flat metal jigs, so all stamped steel, hand bent, hand ground. You drill all your holes individually. There was no automated machinery, nothing to that effect. Everything was just all handmade.
Yeah.
And hand tuned. So obviously, though, back in those days, a lot of the reels were a lot slower retrieve.
Right.
But that you didn't need a fast retrieve for Barracuda or Bonita. All those things were fine.
Yeah.
So,
And so the uniformity of the jigs, did they differ from lure to lure?
sure, every lure was different because they were all hand cut with a hacksaw. There was no power bandsaw
Right.
or a die grinder or anything like this. All hand cut by hand.
Yeah.
So yeah, everything was oftentimes slightly different. You'll never be able to find one lure exactly the same.
That's crazy. And so did some swim better than others or what?
I would assume so. And I know a lot of guys would just, they would bend them themselves.
Yeah.
It didn't take much. All you had to do is put it in a vise, maybe grab a pair of pliers, bend it over a little bit, and it would either increase the speed or make it slower.
Yeah.
So in those days you could modify a lure a lot easier than you could a modern fishing lure.
Yeah. A guy named Sergio Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
Sergio Rodriguez is my little brother Joey. Love that guy, Serge.
He's family. He's an outstanding person.
That's great. Scott Grant says, sounding good. Hit the like button, family. Yeah, we got
sir.
19 likes already, so
go.
hit that like button because
that like button.
we're not going to let you out of here until we hit, what, 200 likes? 200 likes.
Okay.
No more Brazil. No Thailand, none of that.
Staying here.
All right, that's good. Is he good on the camera there too? Yeah, okay, perfect. Mark says, good evening, Phil, especially the Friedman family. Thank you, Mark, so much. Daniel Olson says hello. Albert Ponce says, what's up, family? And Dan Smith says hello, Albert, and all saying hello to, somebody said the Friedman Adventures family about 6 months ago, and I thought it was kind of corny and maudlin and kind of actually silly. But, it really has taken on this thing where it's more than the fishing. The fishing is what is the cement that holds us all together. But it's like, reaching out and helping people across the border.
Absolutely.
Saying thank you to military guys like Jeff Yeomans who've given so much to our country. And, the country, we're in this thing now where people are ashamed to be Americans. It seems like some people, and it's just like makes me. I was never a big flag waver. I just love the country, and some people assume you're always traveling. You must not. I mean, traveling makes you appreciate this place even more.
Yeah, I love traveling, but I would never live anywhere else.
Right.
This is home. And
Yeah.
it'll be here forever.
So it really has taken on this whole family thing, and you're part of it.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah, you are. So, all right, and let's see. Roland says, speaking of different, I have several Taddy 45s purchased recently, and some are 81 grams and other are 94 grams. That make sense to you?
Yeah, that's could be a Friday job or a Monday job. No, every lure is different. We have two 45s right here that are similar in
You can
shape,
hold those up too.
but I guarantee if we were to put them on a gram scale, yes, they would weigh different.
Oh, really?
And the lighter the weight of your lure, generally speaking, the slower you can crank it.
Yeah.
The heavier the lure, it's heavier. You need a little bit faster retrieve just to get it to swim properly, or at least in my opinion,
Right.
properly. So, it's good to weigh your lures sometimes, or at least just have a feel for it, that'll generally, help you kind of determine the speed that it should swim at.
Yeah. So, and you guys are making lures for these bluefin now also, right?
Yes,
You
sir.
got all that stuff going on. Yeah.
We finally got into lead jigs, so I brought a couple here. This is our tuna TSP hybrid. So it's basically an in-between jig. Instead of a fast-paced jigging, it's an in-between. It's not a slow jig where it's a up and down, up and down. It's kind of a middle ground. So you kind of get, in my opinion, the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. What do you think about like the art of jig fishing? Is it something that you embrace? Do you prefer jig fishing? Do you prefer bait fishing, or do you just observe what's going on and then go from there.
I think lure fishing is very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I think it's one of those, as with anything that we want to get into and get good at some point, I think you have to definitely practice at it, and you have to, and it has to be quality practice, right? I know that there's a lot of folks that surface iron fishing, they really, they see deckhands doing it really well, and they want to get into it. And one of the things he and I have talked a lot, where if you're used to casting a sardine, well, you're not lobbing a jig. You actually have to learn how to cast a jig out there. But it is very exciting, and I do believe that it certainly has a time and a place. You have some guys that will fish a lure all day long, and there's nothing wrong with that. And you have some guys that'll pick their spots and find the right opportunity to do that. But it's, again, I bring a surface iron rod on shallow water rockfish trips. People think, what the hell are you doing with that thing? Well, you know what? When it's slow, go up into the bow and start practicing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Jeff's nodding his head.
Yeah. So it's you just kind of, you have to. In my opinion, I don't think it's a 24/7 thing, but there's definitely times where it will outfish bait. I've seen that a lot.
There is nothing like winding a jig and getting bit. That just going from this to whoa, that sensation, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll add to that.
Go ahead.
How about you see a fish,
Oh.
you cast right onto it,
Yes.
and you take a couple of cranks and then you feel the tug. What
Yeah.
do you say, right? The tug is the drug.
Yeah, it's true, right?
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. There's nothing more exciting when that handle just stops.
Yeah.
And the rod just goes, it's
Swear to
just,
God.
It's amazing.
It really is.
Absolutely is amazing.
Even yo-yoing an iron,
Yo-yoing
same
is
thing. When you get bit.
Sure.
Yeah, I remember Patrick, my son, was on the Amigo, and we were out on Cortez. I don't think he must have caught some, but I don't think he'd caught a yo-yo fish or something, and he dropped down, and he thought he'd snagged the bottom. I go, dude, that is not the bottom. And then all of a sudden, he's like locked up with a yellow, and he's like on 80 pound or 100 pound actually, and he's like, I'm loving this. And I go, button that freaking drag down. That fish should get no drag on you. And then it's you against, that's actually harder than when the fish is pulling line.
Sure.
And he's a big, strong kid, so he had a great time with it. But that feeling, that primal, right?
The rest you can have, but just that body.
Here you go. Here, wind it in. Yeah, I just want to hook him.
That's it.
That's why hooking head is actually so fun.
Here you go.
Here you go. It's really cool. Let me go back to some of this. Copious fisherman in this family, Dan Smith, not making fun, but I say copious a lot for many fish. Arnie Man is a pongero in Ensenada who tunes in with his palomitas. You know what palomitos are?
No.
Popcorn. He has his, he's like going to the movies for this guy, he said.
I like it.
Hey, I think you need to move that camera a little bit because Joey's not quite.
Oh,
there you
sorry,
go. That's all right.
Scoot
We want you in there. They don't want to look at my face all the
They
time.
certainly don't want to look at mine.
Boy.
So Arnie, he fishes all the time, gives us great reports. Arnie, you are the man. Very good. The Taddies, I have taken yellowtails all my life. Is Arnie down there in Ensenada? So there you go. Isn't that cool? It's an international thing.
Yep.
It really is. Arnie, thanks, man. How's
Thank you,
fishing?
Arnie.
Yeah, how's fishing down there? Big H Fishing Channel. Looking good, guys. Say hi from Taiwan. Oh my God, we got somebody listening.
Wow.
You know what? My brother lives in Taiwan, and I love your country. I'm gonna get in trouble with my mainland friends now, right? Your country.
We talked about that.
Yeah. You guys are awesome in Taiwan. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have somebody in Mexico. We have somebody in Taiwan. We have a ton of people here from the United States tuning in, and they all love Tady Lures.
Well, we love them all. No matter where you're from.
Do you feel pressure, like, to carry on the legacy of this great company?
Yeah, I do. But it's just been so. This is almost the only job I've ever had in my life.
And you obviously love it.
And I do. It's a passion, and it's been really great. We've made some great friends. I've worked with amazing customers in tackle shops, 22nd Street Landing. It really is, like you said, a family.
Right.
So, as we always try to support our customers, as our customers have always supported us. So it's an amazing feeling.
You've got that same family thing going on, right? Yeah.
It really is. You know, everybody becomes friends. I mean, we've all done business together and fished together for our whole lives. You know, so it's kind of hard not to
I
be
used to
that.
sell him hooks, and then
Yeah.
I in turn would buy
Right.
jigs from him.
Right.
That's just how it
Yeah.
all
What a
works.
That's
small
how
world.
I got to know Brian.
Yeah.
Brian was our hook salesman.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was because you were crazy about the music he listens to.
Well,
Isn't that what it is?
That might be for another podcast.
Yeah. In case you're wondering, everybody, Brian is a classical music fan, and Joey is more of an AC/DC guy. So, have that. All right, a couple more. The DTG guy says Phil is the best at fish report game. I paid him to say that. You know, make sure. K-Ball. Hola, fellas. Hello, Phil, a.k.a. the sack Ethan loves throwing surface iron. Who doesn't? Eric and his kid is 7 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
And I have some video that we ran on the morning briefing the other day. You were just recently out with your son for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that? Because that's a magical moment.
Yeah, we went on a PM half day out here out of 22nd Street on the Monte Carlo, and we were treated to having Brian Burrell on the boat with us. My son had a great time winding up reds and other little bottom knickknacks, but what was awesome was Brian, he had just I think he came back off a trip or something like that, and he had caught bluefin and dorados. So towards the end there, he says, "Oh, Brian, you want any bluefin?" I said, "Sure." He says, "How about some dorado?" I said, "Sure." Went home to the wife. "What'd you guys catch on your half day?" I said, "Bluefin and dorado."
That's hilarious, right? There you go.
Yep.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So magical time, no question about it, right?
It was a magical time, yeah. And then and the week after, I went fishing on my own, so I got to help him out on one week.
Then you got
before,
to go
and
wind
I got
on
to
some
go
fish.
on my
You,
own.
where were you, by the way? Why don't you fill us in on that?
Yeah,
you were on the
I was
Cortez
on a
with
2.5
Rambo.
on the Cortez as usual with
Yeah.
Rambo.
That's your favorite rig down there,
my
right?
Absolute favorite boat to go on, and
Is it more about the boat or more about Rambo?
it's both.
Both.
It just feels like home to us, and we of course Rambo is the man. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be others. Everybody else is great, but we just enjoy fishing with him. But 2.5 days, flat, calm weather, and we ended up with bluefin up to 125 pounds. We had them on fly line, we had them on the jig, so it was a really good time. I was fortunate I came away with a couple myself. And,
Awesome.
Yeah, we did some of the guys got really turned on to the vertical speed jigging on that trip as well.
Why don't you describe how you accomplish that, by the way?
It's kind of I think if you look at it as an entire system, it does get a little overwhelming. But if you take a look at it more so just from just a general overview of it, it's really it's making a lure do something that other anglers are not capable of.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, with rail gear, conventional gear, you can drop down and crank. But on the vertical speed jigging, I'm not sure the bites in the last couple of days. I don't know if it even matters.
Yeah.
But when it does,
Because it's been so insane.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But when it does that vertical speed jigging, it does offer that bluefin something different to look at. And you go talking about it might not be as exciting as getting the handle to stop on a yellowtail
Right.
on a surface iron, but when you do get bit on the pump with the vertical jigging setups. It's really it's quite an experience.
Of course,
You're just
yeah,
jigging
right.
And all of a sudden, wham! It kind of pulls down on you. But it's definitely it's catching on. I had 4 guys off of our trip come off, and they've got blanks on order, and they're being built. And
That's bitchin'.
Yeah, so
You hooked 'em.
I'm glad to promote something like that. But yeah, it was a good time. Very
That's
good time.
fantastic. All right, DTG guy says you got to do a live grunion run. There is a grunion run tonight. We could keep this show going till it's the late one tonight. We can do this show till 1 in the morning, and then the 3 of us. Are you into this?
You think
No,
they'll
you're
get
not.
TLC?
I'm hoping you're going to say you're not into it because
we may need a new color pattern for a
Yeah,
lure. So
there you go.
I got home the other night. This was like a month ago during a grunion run, and I literally live right on the beach right now, down in Surfside. And I stopped right where the house is over here and the beach is over here, and there's a grunion run, and I go, I really should go down. Nah, screw it. I'm going to bed. I mean, it was literally 30 seconds. I should have gone and looked.
Right.
What a lazy bum. All right, let's see. Jason Park, you know that guy?
are you?
What's up, Joey? He says, Jason, thanks for joining us. JB Gamma Gamma. I'm from Texas. I'm a former Redondo jig fisherman.
Oh, boy.
Those Redondo jig fishermen,
Yeah,
man.
they're hard to beat.
Hey, did you know a guy named Howard Warbase who worked on the Redondo special? You were over on the city, I'm guessing, with Rick Evinger or Derry or shoot, Roy Peters, going way back. So let me know if any of those guys ring a bell with you. Mark, question, how do you make a jig swim better? Either one of you two, or both of you guys. Who's first?
Well,
You.
it depends on what you think better is. Maybe it's a speed thing.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's too fast. Let's say on a 45. All these lures are built off of Penn Jig Masters and Newells, which were 3.5 to 1.
Yeah.
So all the new reels are all at least six
to
1,
right? Yeah.
Right? So oftentimes you have to slow it down. But I will give a little secret at the end of the podcast on how to change the way your jig swims.
Oh, I like that you're giving it at the end, so
we have to
these
wait till
people
the end.
have to stay on.
That's it.
Plus, you're giving away some stuff tonight,
Absolutely,
aren't you?
yeah. We're going to give a couple bags of jigs away to a couple lucky anglers.
Yeah.
Or anglerettes.
Yes.
And, yeah.
Joey and I, we've been talking about this for years as far as making a jig swim. I think the angler plays a big part in that too. I mean, it's you kind of have to watch and pay attention to what's going on. I learned one thing from Joey. It's not what you think is swimming good. It's what the fish bite.
Yeah.
So what may not look good to us, I told you the story in the first podcast that we did together. But I know Tucker, he had a jig tied on his boat on his rod. Yeah, I asked him who makes this thing? He says, I don't know. And no matter, he threw it out, and he even said it. He goes, it doesn't look right to me, but it just keeps getting bit.
Yeah.
And so the angler has an awful lot too. The jigs will do plenty fine, but the angler has a big part of that too.
Absolutely.
Jason says, Taddy 14A. Roland, what color has been working the best on the Dorados for the surface jig skipping technique I hear about? And jig skipping's a really good way to get bit on these Dorado.
Yeah, I'd be very careful jigging for Dorado. That's
Right.
the only thing,
I just did with a guy. I did not put that. And at the end of it, I go, I should have put that warning in there. Why? What's the danger? Tell everybody.
You're skipping it on the surface really fast. They don't always commit and just sink it to the bottom.
Yeah.
They may bite it, and then you're cranking tight.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden that jig just shoots back.
Right. You got to really be
Or
careful.
you hook them.
Yeah.
They jump, and then
And
it could be the wrong way.
Yeah.
And then here it comes back to you. So.
But they do bite it pretty well, right?
Well, Dorado, tuna. Sure, they'll eat it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And color-wise, that's a good question. I don't, generally speaking with Dorado, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And especially if you're skipping a jig,
Yeah.
I'd be more concerned about the profile of your jig.
Yeah.
You want a thin profile jig versus, let's say, a big fat jig that wants to sink. You want it on the surface. So maybe like our Taddy C, which is a very shallow jig, or an A1 light on the surface would be a little bit better if you're going to be skipping it.
Tons of people are watching right now. Tons of people are asking questions. The DTG guy says, Taddy, 45 forever.
Thank you, sir.
AK says, I got a fly line question. Braid to fluorocarbon or a mono top shot to fluorocarbon? That sounds like a question for you.
I'm braid the fluorocarbon. One of the things I will tell you, if it's fly lining for bluefin tuna, 20 feet, 25 feet top shot. No, that 5 foot stuff, it just doesn't get bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I can tell you.
Ruben Lopez. Oh, shoot. Can you scan that down a little bit for me? Oh, hey, I think you know what you're doing. You're hired, Danny. He's going to try to steal one of these packs. If he does a good job like this, I'm going to steal one and give it to him. I'm just kidding. So let's see. Ruben Lopez, great guy. Hi, guys. And let's see. What is Taddy's #1 selling iron? And what color? That's a really good question, Ruben. What is it? It's a 45?
Our most
Blue and white?
popular is the 45, and currently I'd probably say in any type of mint variation.
Okay.
Mint is just hot.
Yeah, because everybody's talking about the yellows are biting the mint.
Right. And mint 45 is probably our #1, and then #2 would be our 4.0 heavy. And blue and white or scrambled egg are generally the two best sellers.
Are they biting the mint because they like the mint, or are they biting the mint because everybody's throwing the mint?
Well, I don't know. He and I have had conversations about this. And
While
this
you're
is-
listening to classical music
yeah,
together?
while we're
Yeah.
listening to classical music together in his shop, but I don't know if it's so much the color as it is shades that fish
Right.
can pick up.
Right.
So mint might have a different shade to it, just as the bird poop, or if we say whatever.
Yeah, you can say bird.
shit.
Yeah,
It has
course.
a different shade to it, and I think that that's what attracts them as far as color. So we can doctor it up, and there's a lot of different colors right there, but I think it's just that shading that they're picking up and keying in on.
Cue ball killed fish on a Taddy for over 3 decades. Nuts and bolts of fishing. How's that feel, man?
It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
right?
amazing. Yeah.
It is.
And I appreciate every one of these people.
I can
Yeah,
tell
it's-
you
it's-
are. I mean, after we had dinner upstairs, and I just hit it off with you.
Yeah, we never really officially met
No.
until an
Even-
hour ago, and
Don't you?
think
I
we
feel
just-
like
Are you
you-
regretting
just
it
hit-
as I am?
Yeah, actually, get me out of here. Can we end this? The battery died. We're done, everybody.
Yeah.
No, but we started talking about travel, and you've been to
Yeah.
China many times, and we just seem to hit it off right away.
We have a lot of similar interests and similar beliefs, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. He's probably ready to run out of here, right? Oh my God. Guess who's on here? Scott Buchert.
Oh, boy.
I like the Taddy. They are the very best. Scott, thank you.
Scott.
He's,
Thank you,
he's
Scott.
trying to get a free jig out of you. I know this
You
guy.
want to hear something?
Make a knife jig, he says.
Make a knife jig.
You were
Got it.
talking about
Yeah.
the Taddy family. I've been in the shop with him. And
Now, are you talking about the real family or the
No,
okay.
the community, right?
Okay, right.
I've been in the shop where he gets a message about a guy who, something happened. Maybe he dropped the jig really, or the deckhand gaffed it and it hit the deck and it broke. It doesn't happen often, but I'm telling you right now, having been in the business for over 2 decades, I can tell you when manufacturers get that call, they always kind of roll their eyes and
Yeah.
they're real upset about it. He never even blinks. He goes, let's go replace it. Sends him a nice message back. Here you go.
That's the way to do
Yeah.
business, right?
Yeah. Actually, I just had a customer send me a message saying, "Hey, there's something wrong with my jig. Somehow, a chunk broke off inside the eye." And I was like, "Well, that's kind of neat, actually. Maybe it might smell good."
Yeah, right.
But no big. I can't explain why it happened. The only thing I could think of is there was possibly an air bubble inside the metal, which happens periodically. Usually rare that it happens on the edge because it'll be normally inside the body where there's a bigger cavity. But he was super nice.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey, let's get you back on the water. Let's get you a couple more jigs." Send it off, and he was happier than can be. Sent me a nice note thanking me.
That's
and
right.
That's what it's about.
When people call or get a hold of me and they say, you could improve your show by blah, 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 you know what I do? I tell them to go to hell. No, they're real shy about it.
Right,
And they're like,
right.
I don't want to offend you, but, and I say, you're making our show better.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that you're going out of your way, I'm sure you got a busy schedule.
Sure.
You're calling or sending me a note and saying you can, and most of the time they're right.
Yeah.
Most of the time they got a great suggestion.
Sure.
So,
Sure.
oh my God, I'm gonna get a ton of notes now. Get a toupee or something. Quit dyeing your beard.
yeah.
One of those things. So, but no, when I get that, I'm like you. I'm deeply appreciative. Yeah. Except when Scott Buchert does it.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, no, just
It
kidding.
won't replace my jigs anymore because I can't catch fish at all. And then he just pretty much says, you suck. That's it, so.
Yeah, we got to get you guys. Come on, drop the gloves here,
This
you
is a pretty
two.
good jig. I think you might want to try that.
Is there the competition between jig companies? Is it vicious? Is it
No, I wouldn't
Marcus
say
of
so.
Queensberry or what?
I mean, I've known Matt Solis, for many, many years.
Yeah.
Our families go back since his
You guys were
his
fr-
father started the business, and they started actually I believe just a few years prior to us.
Yeah.
So no, our families, go back, many, many years, and we've always had a great relationship. He'll call me,
Yeah.
asking me some questions. I'll call him, asking him questions, and we'll compare notes.
Yeah.
And
That's
and
great.
I think, and I love it, and so I don't feel that there's definitely no bad blood. Are we competitors?
Sure.
Sure
Of course.
we are. Sure
Yeah.
we are.
But You can be competitors and be friends.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Eric S. Known both of these guys for a bit. Looking forward to fishing on a Brian charter next year. Me too. Saw Joey at Cedros. You were at Cedros a few weeks ago?
Yep. Yes.
Cedros, Brazil. I want to. I just can I carry your luggage? I just want to.
It's supposed to be working.
That is work, isn't it?
Yeah, we call it
I
work.
tell my wife all the time.
I took a couple of pictures. That's work.
That's what I told my accountant anyways.
I tell my wife I'm going to Costa Rica to, film fishing. Oh, no, Felipe, you're not going to Costa Rica without me. I go, well, do you want to go? Oh, I can't. Oh, then I'm out of here.
Hey,
Too bad.
sorry.
Work is calling me once again. Let's see. Gama says yes. Okay. He's telling me who he fished with over on the City of Redondo. Howard. Oh, he knew Howard. Larry Petrie. Glenn Mueller. I knew all those guys on the Redondo Special. Rick, Derry, Roy, and Doris. Man, you and I know all the very same people. This is before your time. Or did you know any of those guys? No, you guys are. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
This is ancient history stuff going
As
on.
ancient as Bach?
Rick Effinger. Rick Effinger. He owns Marina Del Rey Sport Fishing. Yeah. So Rick and I went to high school together.
Oh.
We would catch these frickin' bat rays, go surf fishing, and we'd put it right at the base of I think it was St. Francis at Bishop Montgomery High School in the morning, and then the priest would come out and go, "What the hell is that? And how do we get rid of it?" And Rick and I are like high fiving, we did it again. So we had a lot of fun together. Arnie Man, I need to come fishing, Philip. You will believe me, I have a Taddy 4 years with, so he's had this Tady lure that's been super effective down there in Ensenada. He's painted it 3 times. He loves it so much. We got to get Arnie a Taddy shirt or something,
Absolutely,
right? One of these days, man.
Right.
AKA the Sack 45 Mint, 40 scrambled egg.
That's it. Right here.
Robert Ganji, where can I find a chrome and blue Taddy go-go?
Oh, you're talking about an old flat metal go-go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any of those vintage tackle traders will have
Do
them,
you have
for
some
sure.
of them? I mean, I'm not.
Oh, I do.
Yeah,
I do, yeah.
You keep
Sure.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
Do you preserve the history of the company by keeping all the
Oh,
jigs?
of course, yeah. I have a very similar jig wall like yours, and it's just hundreds and hundreds of jigs, not just my own, but from bone jigs to solace jigs to you name it, kicker jigs.
Yeah.
I have them all. I wouldn't call myself a collector of jigs, but I do like to look at all these things and kind of refer to them and say, oh well, believe it or not, we call this a new color, but this is actually an old color that we reintroduced. So
what's old is new again.
what's old is new.
Yeah. That's great. What is that called
We
now?
call this chartreuse silver. Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yep.
All right. Let's see. Ontario, California, in the house. Whoop whoop. We got people from all over the world here. Ed Nesbitt, my first Taddy 45. I mean, this is bitching that all these people have these Taddies.
It's
My first Taddy 45 is kind of funny. I casted out a mint color and my reel bird nested. The jig was doing something and a nice yellowtail grabbed it and I boated it. I will always remember it, laughing out loud.
So we just got back from Cedros and the exact same thing happened. A friend of mine made a cast, backlashed. He was trying to get, because we all had fish hooked up, and he's trying to get the slack line out of the water.
Yeah.
And he ended up just hand lining the slack out, and it gets bit.
Oh my God.
And this is the lure. We're sitting in 30 feet of water. It's sitting on the floor.
Bitchin'.
And he's just, slowly doing one of these, and bam, it hits it.
That is, how'd you like Cedros?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Cedros Adventures, with Rosie, she does a fantastic job.
I've heard that. We're trying to get her on the podcast. I'm going to get her on pretty soon.
I would highly recommend it. She's an outstanding person. She took care of everything. And everyone that is at the fish camp, just fantastic people.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic people.
You're talking about the Pongeros and the people that take care of the hotel, service workers.
Take care of the hotel.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic people. Just the kindest people.
Yep. I mean, you find that throughout Mexico and Latin America.
I'm seeing
right?
that more and more and more.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Cedros is a possible venue on January the 6th. That's Dia de Reyes, and that's a big gift-giving day in Mexico when the three kings arrived to the Christ child. So that's the Feast of the Epiphany. So we've been warehousing clothing and food. We've got a huge amount of stuff over at Gallagher Staging. So Cedros is one of the places it's probably way up on the list right now because of Diego Nuno. You know him from the Royal Star. And what's so funny about that? I don't know. So that might be a place we're going to go. And this guy, Phil Capriccio is his name. He's got this 72-foot bitchin' yacht. He goes, I'll drive a bunch of that down there and we can go. And I'm like, oh, can I hitch a ride?
Sounds good.
That sounds like fun.
And it's a great cause.
Yeah, right. So it should be fun.
So it's a win-win.
Yep. And that's all the Freeman Adventure family. I get a lot of the credit I don't deserve. I get to play Santa Claus.
There you go.
Incidentally, I played Santa Claus in China. That had to be one of the most bitchin' things. And the funny thing was, the international school, they were all into it because we taught them about Western culture and customs. But they had me go to the frigging public school. And this one teacher looked at me like, don't you dare come in this room. And I go, we got to go in there. So we went in and I walked up and hugged her. I couldn't, and she's like, get your filthy Santa Claus hands off it. But the kids were like crazy and I was throwing candy around. That was fun. So anyway, that should be a great time down at Cedros. I'm hoping. And Rosie, I'm sure, will play an integral part in that whole thing. Fishing there is outstanding, right?
Fishing's great. Fishing's great. We had limits of yellowtail by 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then we'd fish bass or halibut, pargo. It was just amazing. And we got to fish different things that I wouldn't normally fish. This time we did a lot of that vertical jigging.
Yeah.
For calicos.
Yeah.
And then we ended up catching a few pargo at the same time.
Joey, I don't know that we've had a bigger audience than tonight. There's a ton of people watching, man. You are the man.
Well, thank you for having me.
Brian,
appreciate it.
You're bringing all these great guests to the Freeman Adventure show. What can I say?
I'm just happy.
Besides, thank you.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be able to convince them to come onto the show. And
did he have to twist your arm?
He brought me a sandwich.
Promise not to play classical music for a week.
That's right. That's right.
I think that it's really good to introduce people to manufacturers like Joey. I think to be able to say that you kind of you put a face to the product and
I think it's great.
Feel like you have a relationship with the company, but better than coming on here and trying to just ram product down people's throats. We're here to promote fishing and have a good time.
And you have a question for Joey or for Brian, please shoot it in here. We're all about that. Is that where the last question is, that top one? Okay. Yellowtail 69, Wasabi. Joe is Grace Sato, your auntie.
Yes.
I fished with her husband, Chris, on the Star at Clarion.
Yep.
Yeah, you know these people?
Yeah, absolutely, yep.
All right, C2 Sanctuary. Hey, Phil. Went on the Enterprise today and managed 2 chunky Dorado number 4 mustard hooks with 15-pound fluoro was the ticket. Thanks for sharing that. You got to gauge every kelp. You got to gauge every bite. If they're not biting, you got to drop down to some lighter line. And I've told this story so many times these people are going to throw up. But a 12-pound test one day, a deckhand, or Joe Schilling, I think it was, said, tie that to the cleat and try to break it. Pull as hard as you can. And it's friggin', you can pull hard on 12. Sure. You can pull hard on 15. So,
kind of interesting. I mean, again, this is kind of the relationship that we have. We're always talking about this stuff. And there's a lot of fear. There's a lot of fear-based fishing that's going on.
Meaning?
Like, 40-pound test back in the 90s was good enough to land 100, 120-pound tuna.
Yeah, I know.
Now
I know what
it's
you're
not.
saying. Yeah,
Right?
you're right.
I fished with a guy who he used an international 16, and I mean a big reel, and he used 40-pound with it, and he says, I don't want to get spooled. I mean, all 800 yards of line on a what is it, a 4 or 5 pound reel, and I'm thinking, man, how do you can't present the bait. There's no bait break. You're gonna have to, I don't know. But it's just, there's a lot of fear-based fishing, and when you say dropping down in line, there's a lot of people that are really like, well, shoot, I don't want to get tooled by this fish. Well, you got to get bit first before you, worry about that kind of stuff,
That's what
right?
my dad always said. You got to get bit first, and
Yeah.
then worry about it later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I drop down. I'm no fear. I mean, if you get spooled, I mean, you can have it.
Yeah, and it's a little more sporting, actually,
sure.
right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Takes a little more finesse to do that.
Yeah.
So good stuff there. I normally wouldn't read this kind of a thing to you because I don't like criticisms, but do you mind if I read this, Joey?
Go ahead.
Tangle Diver says that Bach fished a yo-yo.
Boom.
Yeah, see? So, there you go.
There
You're
you
a
go.
Bach fan or a Beethoven fan? Who's your favorite
Bach.
consultant? Oh, it is Bach. All right. Phil, my fishing buddy, told me tonight that he would call in and the report back in the 80s. That was the 976 Tuna hotline when I was doing that. God, that was like, I built this empire on a little recording thing. I'll never forget, man, the first day we got like 3,000 calls. Wow. My mother was like, she was like the business part, because I'm not good at that. And she's like, what the hell? She looked at the check and she's going like, what did you stumble into? I go, I don't know, Ma, but let's keep it going. So those are great days, yeah. Somebody, who was it? Some guy got a hold of me today. Oh yeah, he was sending me I love your morning briefing. And he said, are you the same guy that did I go, that's me. And he's like, God, I knew it was your voice.
Yeah,
I was a bartender at the Orange County Fair. And
You didn't quite sound the same, Phil.
I know, right? But I was, serving beer, and all of a sudden this big guy standing in front of me, he goes, are you the voice of, Albert Ponce. Wow. Albert is a big fan of ours, and he's a great guy, super good guy. Crazy how small this world is. All right, let's see. By the way, you're doing a fantastic job. SoCal Drew just dropped a $20 bill to the Freeman Adventures. SoCal, you have no idea how much we appreciate that. Really, really, really do. Thank you so very much. Coffee, he says. So let's go get a coffee. He might be talking about.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't start again.
Starting on that one.
Have you ever been to the?
We had coffee upstairs. That coffee, right? That's
Yeah.
the one, right?
Oh, you have been to these other coffee. I can see by the
That
smile.
coffee upstairs is really good.
You've had coffee and have you ever had Vietnamese coffee? It's very
Never
strong.
Never heard of it.
It's never heard of it.
No,
Hanging out with this
last
guy?
No, never. Never.
You've been there,
I
huh?
wouldn't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. Let's steer away from that. Thank God my wife doesn't speak English.
PG show.
Yeah. All right. Please. Yeah. All right. Are you have this all perfect? You got this right? All right. Danny's doing a great job, isn't he?
Yes, sir.
You have to give him a piece of fluorocarbon or something after all this. Dang, it's late to the party. All right, somebody's late, but you're here now. Hook to crook.
Glad to have you.
Eric S. Bryan, who's the better fisherman, you or your brother?
Well,
is that you?
Him, probably.
Oh, me?
Him.
Or yeah, I got a brother too.
Yeah, I got one too. Yeah, I'm not really sure as of late. He's only fishing once a year, so I'd have to say me.
And Eric, so many times, if my brother were here and he asked me that question, I would put my arms around him and I would say, "This is a nice moment. Let's not spoil it." Tom Cruise said, who's the better pilot in that movie? All right, have you seen Top Gun yet? Oh, come on, I'll go with you. I think I've only seen it 21 times now. My wife will see a movie one time, and then I go, seriously? You don't want to go see it? No, I've seen and I got to sit there, and I'm looking at her ear the whole freaking movie because I'm translating the movie on the fly.
Oh.
I do the whole, so I have to go see it 25 times before, so I know every word in the thing. All right, Scott Dickerson, Taddy Y2 Blue Chrome Fixed Hook was a go-to jig for albacore on the slide. Yep. Scott Dickerson, right on. I remember that.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that was another one of the not original flat metal, but it's a similar. It's stamped steel or brass.
One of the jigs too. I mean, for albacore, that blue chrome Taddy TLC. Jerry, my brother, who's
fishing
honestly,
slide.
Phil, he is a really good fisherman.
Oh yes,
But,
my brother is too. My brother's probably a better
yeah.
fisherman than me.
He would destroy albacore on a TLC single hook, blue chrome.
And people probably listening don't know what the slide is fishing for albacore. You want to tell them?
Right.
What is when you get hooked up on the troll? The boat comes to a slide. It doesn't just stop.
They pull them out of gear. Yeah.
And then you fire off, hopefully to the side, not back in the stern.
In the trolling gear.
Trolling gear, and then it was pretty darn effective on
very
albacore.
effective,
Yeah,
Very
wahoo, it's really effective
Oh,
on. Boy, I mean
almost
anything
all,
else,
yeah.
all the tuna, but
Gosh.
albacore. I mean, it's because I think for the albacore you can fish a lighter rig, and they ate a lot of variety of lures, so you can have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah. Joey, what are you have a secret you're gonna tell at the end of the show tonight. What is it again?
Well, we'll talk about how to tune your lure.
You're gonna talk about how to tune a fish or
Yeah,
tune a lure?
Tune the lure, yeah. Well, I didn't want to. That is one of my secrets, but I think since we became family, I figured let's extend this.
Yeah, but you're gonna have 10,000 other people. Are they part of the family?
Why not?
There you go.
Why not?
But I say you only share it if we get to 200 likes.
Okay.
Yeah, if
You heard
not,
it, people.
yeah, there you
Smash
go.
that like button so we can get the super secret out.
Make sure you stay tuned. Anthony Amalfitano is coming down. Would anyone like fresh mahi fillets that are vacuum sealed and frozen last night?
gosh.
I'll take some. You're not going to catch me any, are you, Danny? Yeah, Anthony. We need you for the, he does the trivia questions.
Oh.
He goes to my morning briefing, so I do that show every morning.
Yep.
And then he asks a question from the morning briefing. I don't even know the frickin' answer. I'm like, what is that? I forget what I said. All right, Anthony's on his way. Joe Martinez, the man who caught the 315-pound fish, will be joining us tomorrow night on the Amigo. I can't wait for that trip. The it's blowing out there right now, and it's actually going to stop blowing on Thursday morning when we start fishing. Joey, this is very unlucky because I normally pick the days where it's a hurricane.
Yeah.
So thank God, I've just been on a roll. Joe says, big game assist hooks, 340 number Kevar line with 49 strand wire 6.0. What a setup. Thanks for the assist. This is the guy that, caught that might be, what's the biggest tuna this year? Is it that? 315?
That one
Probably, yeah. I haven't known anything over 300.
You know how long it took him?
No.
Take a guess.
15 minutes.
2 hours.
Well, we went from one end to the other, didn't we? Well, it feels
The
like
answer
15
is
minutes.
30 minutes.
Oh,
I guess Brian beat you again. Put on the classical music. Go ahead. Go ahead. We'll listen to it. All right. Roland, violin strings are the original mono. What, these guys are into this whole thing. C2 Sangstrom, down, Tony. Scott Buchard, did tell you make the boat jig the boat's names? Does that make any sense to you?
No.
Did we ever make?
Did Taddy?
Make jigs that are a boat's name?
Yeah.
Yes, we have.
You
Not
have.
as many as Solace, but yes, we made a Matt Walsh jig.
You did.
Actually, yes.
Yeah. Which is the California now up out of Ventura Sport Fishing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. See, you learn something from me. Every once in a while, I have a pearl of wisdom.
Well,
Not very often.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Another boat or just the Matt Walsh that you can remember?
That I can remember is just a Matt Walsh.
And did you do that because you had a relationship with the Matt Walsh, or you thought it was okay?
Yes.
Okay.
And we did make some after a couple captains. There's a couple. A couple old captains. His boat sank.
Eddie McEwen.
Gary Lamont.
Gary
the
Lamont,
GL.
Yeah.
The GL is Gary Lamont, which was a giant surface iron or yo-yo, but it was just, it was huge. I think they were trolling it for wahoo.
Yeah. Speaking of old captains, we should offer our condolences. Steve Loomis passed away.
Yeah.
And did you know Steve?
Not personally.
Did you?
Not personally.
All right, but he was on the Royal Polaris for many years.
Yeah.
A talented fisherman. Nick Curcione fished with him a lot. Nick is nobody knows Nick, but he was a big outdoor rider, and he was my sociology professor at Loyola.
That's right. That's yours.
Yeah, and it was crazy, because once you find out a guy likes to fish, you're getting an A in the course, number one.
Yeah.
Do I have to show up to this course, or can we just go
Albacore
visit?
right now.
Yeah, let's go. All right, let's see. Darren was on the trip. I don't know what he's talking about, Scott. Hook to cook. Do you guys already covered the Dorado bite? Well, we could cover it a little bit more. I mean, it's freaking incredible, is what it is, right?
Right.
I mean,
Well, I think the Monte Carlo is running like extended
Yeah, he
days
is.
right now.
he's getting hundreds of fish.
Gosh, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, to get hundreds of fish of any species let alone Dorado.
Because it's such an unusual catch for here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it like this personally.
Me either. Me either. And I've been around 60 years doing this, so.
Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely
Even
great.
during El Nino years, Joey and Brian.
I don't.
This is a
remember
La
Dorado
Nina
like
year.
that.
Not like, I mean, I've
Not
seen
this
Dorado.
close and not these
Yeah.
numbers.
Numerous
Right,
like they are. And I don't think we've seen the best of it. I really don't. I think you get into the fall where we're still going to have that warm water flow, unless we start getting Arctic-based storms that really start to bring the cold winds. I think the best is yet to come.
Yeah.
It could really get
Wait.
crazy.
Yeah. I'm going out in a couple of weeks here.
Are you?
Back out again.
I'm
yeah,
out
give it a
tomorrow
shot.
night, man. Can't wait. That should be a lot of fun. All right. I have a qualifier 105 jig, says Big Duke 10.
That's a
Solace,
jig.
I believe.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Don Emilio Escobar, another Pangero in Ensenada, Taiwan, Ensenada, Estados Unidos. Don Emilio says, we even use Taddies for trolling barracudas down here in Ensenada, and they love it.
Interesting.
So, yeah. Did you know that?
I know that they troll. I think they call it the cheeseburger rig. For white sea bass down in
Hamburger
Mexico.
rig.
Yeah.
Hamburger rig. Yeah, I don't know. It's basically they'll take any heavy jig, and they'll pin a mackerel usually backwards on the lure, and then they slow troll it by kill.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Super effective.
Wow.
It originally I think they were using crocodiles, but a small yo-yo jig would work just as well.
Perfect. Don Emilio, gusto verte como siempre. Hey, put your business name in there so people can come down there and fish with you. Jeff, if you have a question and you don't want to fire it on there, just blurt it out, okay? We love this guy, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
540s.
540 slingers. If you want to learn how to chuck the iron, that's the man you want to see. Join that club. It's a fantastic club loaded with really great people. All right, DJB. Did I miss the answer to Tangle Diver's question? Maybe we screwed up. Does a Psywash hook ruin the action of either surface or yo-yo jigs? Yeah, we didn't answer that.
That's a good question. Yeah, it definitely changes the action because that Psywash hook is heavier than a treble hook and it sticks out longer.
Yeah.
So you just got more drag behind the lure versus a treble hook.
Okay.
You could get away with a Psywash hook on your larger jigs or your larger surface irons, but on let's say a 45, I don't particularly like it, but it's doable. You know, we sell a lot of Psywash hooks for the East Coast because they do a lot of catch and release for stripers.
Yeah.
So and it works for those folks. They love Psywash hooks.
All right, perfect.
So there's a time and place for everything.
Hit that like button, please, everybody. And Joey is going to share how to tune a jig toward the end of tonight. Hopefully we don't run out of time and then everybody's going to want to kill. Where did Danny go? We're starting to get screwed up here. Eric S. Fished with Steve Loomis a few times. Good captain. Enjoyed our time on the Royal Players. I think I missed one up there, but I might be wrong. Hook to Cook. We were on the Monte Carlo, or we were on the Monte Carlo for Friday. They caught 3 today, is all they caught, is what he's saying. So that happens when you're kelp patty fishing.
The wind's up.
Yeah.
The wind's up.
Pressure.
Scott Buchert, well, let's see, hold on. Did I miss one? Don Emilio? No, we're good. Scott Buchert says Stars Cafe. You know anything about that?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, me either. I disavow.
If that's in Westminster or Garden Grove, I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah, no, me either.
No.
What is wrong with going to a coffee shop is what I want to know. I tell my wife that all the time. It's a coffee shop. What could possibly be going on at a coffee shop?
Right.
It's, we flip a coin, Starbucks or Stars Cafe. Whichever one pops up,
It always lands on Starbucks for some reason, though.
No, it doesn't. Can you explain why if you buy 5 Taddy 45s, some swim and others don't?
That's a good question. I wouldn't say some swim and others don't. They just swim differently.
Uh-huh.
So some lures are obviously the way they're shaped, they'll lend itself to a faster retrieve. Others more of a slow retrieve. We've also found that a little bit, maybe 30-pound test is better than your 40-pound test. So I wouldn't say not swim, just different.
Swim's different.
Yeah. It's just like people. Everybody's a little different.
Yeah,
I think-
especially Brian.
Yeah. Well, not always great either.
It's super important. I mean, you know, the whole this jig doesn't swim and that jig doesn't swim, you know, they're different shapes, of course.
Yeah.
Right. And when you look at a rack, you know what you do if you
You're
have
going back to
success-
Stars Cafe again?
Yeah.
Now? You look at a rack?
No, yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
sorry. All right.
But you find, I mean, you look at the shape of a jig that you've had a lot of success with.
Yeah.
You just try to find one like that, and there you go. It's not to say that the other jigs on the rack are bad, but it's just that you have more confidence in that shape. Maybe because you had a great day with it. But there's some jigs that I use that you know that Jeff probably would look at and goes, that's not what I would pick. And
Yeah.
it's not that it's bad, it's just that they're all a little different. And again, we tend to forget that the angler has an awful lot to do with how the jig swims too.
Right. You've made that point,
Yeah,
and
so-
it's worth reemphasizing.
Yes, and
Yeah.
so you got to help it. It's going to do its job, but you kind of have to add to that. You have to be an active participant in your own catch.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Hey, we went by, or
Anytime a jig doesn't swim, it's because of whoever's fishing it hasn't found the right cadence
Yeah.
for that jig.
all right. So Jeff, in case you couldn't hear that, Jeff says if a jig is not swimming, it's because the angler hasn't found the correct cadence for the jig. Meaning you got to experiment, right?
Oh, yeah, you gotta
Yeah.
practice.
You got to
Like I
practice
said,
and
yeah.
keep that going.
I said this the first show.
Thank you.
A jig. You asked me what is a jig that doesn't swim. Well, it's one that you throw and it comes back straight. I've never seen that.
Yeah.
You know, so they
Right.
do. So
Yeah, I was just getting ready to cancel any chance of him getting a Tady Lure, and then he redeemed himself once again. Danny's done a great job. Albert Ponce, please don't forget the guys from Blackfin in Punabanda in Ensenada. Albert fishes with them, Blackfin. That's good enough for me. If he says they're good, I haven't had the chance yet. I want to go down there. I'll shoot a video with those guys one of these days. I love this guy, Albert. He's just a prince of a guy, and his wife, Crystal, and his kids. They all came out. Dana Wharf. I didn't actually go on the trip because I had to go do something else, but I got to spend a little bit of time. And he was the guy that, heard my voice at the OC Fair. So, Blackfin in Punabanda in Ensenada. You can get out and catch bluefin. That Punabanda zone, let's talk about throwing a Taddy 45 in there, man. There's some big bass in there. More than anything, you're into this kind of, I think, it's so rugged and picturesque.
Yeah.
And also, when you're fishing that Punabanda area, maybe by La Bufador or whatever,
Yeah.
you see these Mexican guys that are down there fishing, right? And you look around and it's a sheer freaking cliff. And you're like, how in the hell? And then you look and there's like a freaking rope. And there's this guy's my age.
Wow.
You know, I have a hard time going up the stairs, you know? And
Right.
and they're oh my God. You talk about dedication.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Something
you gotta
else.
do what you gotta do to put food on the table, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some of that is subsistence fishing down there. So you're right. All right, Albert, you're right. 51 Soriano, listening from Hawthorne, California. Great show, guys. My favorite jig, Mint and Wounded Soldier, old Taddy 45s. Listen to all these people coming out of the woodworks, you know?
that Wounded Soldier is like my #1 color for Barracuda.
It is?
I mean, I don't know. They just absolutely clobber that. I know
Really?
everybody's blue and white, black and white. I've always fished that Barracuda.
All right. Seed to Sanctuary, Hook to Cook, fishing next to them. I managed to caught. Okay, they're talking about what they caught. Let's see. Thanks for the update. Okay, they're talking about the bite today. Flyline sardines, 15 pounds. Don Emilio, I don't have an operation yet. I just love fishing, Phil. But thanks, man. I wish maybe next year. So maybe he's going to have an operation. He's a super polite, great guy. So
Wish him the best of luck.
yeah, absolutely. Anything we can do to help you, Don Emilio, con mucho gusto, mi hermano. Steve Bermudez, I was fishing the Taddy fixed hook, yellow and green, that I bought in 1977, and the deck hand tells me, oh, old school. I told him, who are you calling old school, you whippersnapper? I like it. Good job, Steve. Hook to crook. All right, these guys are still talking about the bite today. So you just got back from Brazil.
Yes.
You are all
Yeah.
jet setting all over the world.
Yeah.
I'm going to get out of the podcast business and start selling lures for you.
Yeah, we just got back from Brazil. Well, it's February when we went. And,
Yeah.
it was a fantastic trip. And I've never been to South America. I've never been peacock bass fishing. And I've seen a lot of people do it. And finally decided, you know what, we're gonna go. We're gonna do it. So hopped on a plane and went.
And you fished the Amazon, or where did you fish?
Amazon River, yeah, the Orinoco River.
Come on,
Yeah, right
that's
on-
just beautiful.
It's beautiful. We're literally right on the equator line.
Wow.
You know, literally. So it was hot. It was hot. to
Tell
say
me
the
something
least.
about how the people are there.
You know, fantastic people. So kind, so loving. You know, I can't say enough about those people. You
Yeah.
know, just amazing. Absolutely amazing. And that's what really the people are, and our hosts is really what made the trip great. You know,
Yeah.
the fishing was fantastic, but even if it wasn't, it still would have been a outstanding trip.
How was the comida, the food?
Oh, it's, you know, I was telling you earlier, it was amazing food, and I've never had experienced any of it before in my life. And that's what I liked the most, was trying the new food.
Yeah, and see, you and I have that in common too, because I'll try almost anything. There's a couple things I've passed on and I regret it. And somebody told me one thing I passed on in a taco stand in Tijuana, ojo de vaca, the cow eye.
The cow eye.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll pass on that. And then some guy, I told him I passed on. He goes, oh, you should try it. It's so good. So I guess I'm going to have to try it.
Wow.
That doesn't turn you on?
I mean, I'm willing to try anything too.
Would you
but
try that?
I would.
All right.
yeah.
Well, we should all go
get it
down and
up.
eat a ojo de vaca, man.
Right after, is that before or after Star's Coffee Shop?
Good question. I have to think about the order on that. Ask Scott.
Yeah.
You know what's funny about Stars? Scott was a security guard at the place right next door, like the
okay.
Boiling Crab or something. So you know where he was going with his tip money all night long. Scott, stop that nonsense. All right, let's see. Mark, how can you tell which jig is made for fast or slow retrieve? You kind of referenced that it's weight, right? Or
Yeah, the best way to go about it is the weight of the lure. However, there's an exception to everything.
okay,
You just really have to swim the jig. You have to get out in the water, cast it in salt water in a real life fishing scenario. Not
Current and everything,
yeah, with
too.
current. You know, not necessarily on the dock or in the lake. You know, be on the water, fish with current, fish with wind. You know, as you would, and then you know, again, it's not necessarily what you think swims right or how well the speed is that you think. It's what the fish think.
yeah,
You know,
Right.
what do they want?
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes they're keying in on anchovies, maybe a smaller, slower jig.
Yeah.
Or there's sardines and mackerel. Then you could go with a bigger jig or a faster swimming jig might be a little bit better.
yeah.
So
All right, Dennis McTeer, pardon me. Dennis, thanks for being. Thanks to everybody. All your
Yeah,
questions
thank
are
you.
great.
Yeah,
I mean,
great questions.
like I said, huge audience tonight. Good job. How long have we been talking? If you had to take a guess, give me a time.
15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Over an hour. Yeah. Right on, man.
Amazing when you have fun, right?
I know, right? It's pretty crazy, right? I mean, that tells you the show's going really well
Oh,
when
I'm
it's
glad.
doing that.
That's good.
Dennis McTeer, Joel, did your dad take you on the fat mat on Sunday afternoons? I guess he knows your dad used to fish that, huh?
Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Who was running in those
Yeah.
days? Ray Dwayne?
Ray
Duane.
and Walt. were
Oh,
running.
Walt, here,
and
yeah.
Paul Medina.
Okay.
And Paul Medina, yeah.
You know, I think Todd Phillips ran that boat for a while too. Yeah, and I just ran into him today. It was great to see him. It was
Yeah.
such a small
Yeah,
world.
that was a long time ago though. Yeah, he was.
Do you
he was-
remember that as being great experience? Fishing with
I
your
mean,
dad?
Well, just to be on the water is always a great experience. Fishing with my dad was obviously fun.
Sure.
I think it was more of an excuse for him to just get out of the house and go talk with his buds more than hooking fish or anything like
Right.
that. So, like I mentioned before, where I learned a lot from like Walt and Walt from the Monte Carlo here.
Right.
Paul Medina. Just watching those guys fish growing up.
Right.
Had a big influence on me.
Yeah, and Walt, I've known him since Redondo days back in the 70s.
Yep.
So, I
Yep.
mean, I go
Yeah.
back a long way with him.
Right.
That's crazy stuff. Don Emilio, love the new slow pitch jigs. I got a thresher shark
Oh.
on an SPJ from Taddy. Keep up the hard work.
Thank you.
Scott just says Cedro. So, okay.
Hmm.
Very good, Scott.
Okay.
What about Cedros?
Yeah.
Taddy TLC Chrome and Blue Original Blue Fin Jig.
Yep.
Is that true?
Maybe more albacore than anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure the bluefin.
But absolutely.
Yeah. Big Duke X, purple and black Taddy 45 was my go-to jig for several years. Lots of Barracuda taken on that jig, even after all the paint was gone.
Yep.
So that tells you that it's the action of the jig. Is that the most important part of this, or not?
Yes and no.
Uh-huh.
You know, because there's a weird thing that sometimes they key in on certain colors. We're just in Cedros, and last year blue and white, they were licking it, absolutely killing the blue and white. This year, mint.
And did anybody throw the blue and white though this year?
I did throw the blue and white. Yeah, I had a few bites. I had a few bites for sure, but nothing like the mint or mint variations. Yeah, so you know, I'd say color doesn't matter, but you know, it is good to have, like Brian said, different shades of colors. You know, a few lighter colors, maybe a few darker colors.
I'll bring in my box. I will bring the hard edge colors. So that's your blue and white. So you got the white belly on the sides, or mint and white. I bring a swirl or bird shit, something like that, some type of a swirl, and I'll bring a solid color jig, like the one that mint one right there. And I think it's just a good idea to have all those shades covered in regards to color anyway.
Yeah.
And you start talking about what jigs are your favorite. Well, I guess you can figure that one out. But that's how I pack. I like a hard edge, I like a swirl, and then I like a solid. I think you've got all your bases covered by having those three shades, like we've been saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Joey, you said your dad, maybe his motive for going wasn't necessarily to catch fish. That's one thing about fishing, and I think you got it, and you got it too. It takes you to some of the most beautiful places on the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. It really does. I mean, that East Cape is gorgeous. Costa Rica, beautiful. Nicaragua, Brazil. I mean, wherever there's this water where you're fishing, it's going to be gorgeous usually. And it really is. Mexico, all over the place. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Well, you know, Brian mentioned, you know, he took his son out fishing for the first time.
Yeah.
You know, this is on the half-day boat right here. So he's most likely on the Horseshoe Kelp. You know, I think it was a beautiful experience, right? Mm-hmm. As a father and son, it doesn't get much better than that.
That's right. That's right.
Whether you're catching little guys or big guys, right? It's more of the experience with family, with friends that really bring it together. And
absolutely.
That's probably the most beautiful thing that I could think of.
Especially in this day and age with, you know, you got a young son, you got to be concerned about social media and him being hooked on, I mean, right? Does that just rot your brain?
The world needs more tackle boxes
That's
and less Xboxes.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah. You coined that phrase.
I didn't coin it, but it's certainly one of those memes that moves you.
Yeah.
You know, when you get it. But
and that's the beauty of fishing, you know? I mean, it's family time together. I can say to my kids, hey, do you guys want to, sit on the couch and talk for 4 hours today? And they're like, are you drinking again? You know, no. And I can say, you guys want to go fishing for 2 days? And they're like, yeah, let's go. Right. And then the conversation takes place during that and all the good stuff. So it's really good. DJB says, hit the like button. We're almost up to 100, which is really rocking and rolling. Scott Buchert says, Philip's favorite place. I think he's talking about the cathedral where I go to Mass every Sunday. Gotcha. Yes, thank you, Scott, for always being there for me. Scott, I love you.
Espresso with condensed milk and ice.
Jason Park says, talk about the coffee place that closed down at Cedros. Do you know anything about that?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Sam De La Torre. Sam, I'm coming to your shop tomorrow. Yeah, I'm coming, so dig up something. I'm coming early. I'm coming at 9. Are you going to be there? Great show, guys. Sam De La Torre. Great info with so many jigs to choose from these days. Gotta say, a 45 is still my all-time go-to. And Sam De La Torre, who would know more than him about that, right?
He knows a lot.
Yeah,
he definitely does, and his amazing shop.
It's a great shop. Island fishing tackle, yeah. And normally what I do with these things now, because I'm like a one-man show until I get some of my staff back here. Here's one guy, Anthony. Good to see you, Anthony. Right. Oh, beautiful. What a nice guy, right? Yeah. And he's got great trivia questions. But what was I going to say? I lost my train.
We were talking about Sam's place.
Sam's place, yeah.
Stop it.
Great place, yeah. We were talking about the coffee shop.
Yeah.
And no, Sam has never been there with me. Sam, we're not going to break up anything for you. So, yeah, great guy. I love Sam.
Yeah, he does such let me and Moon hang out there for a couple hours.
Yeah, I remember that. The last show we did. Yeah, I know. I hang out there way too much.
Yeah.
My wife thinks I've got a thing going with Sam or something.
Got a special question.
All right. Oh, man, he's got a Tady Lure with him. This guy's...
Goody goody.
All right.
I want to know some answers.
All right, perfect. We'll do that in just a second. Let me catch up here. What are some of the old school jigs that you see coming back into style that a guy could pick up for the next season? Are there any old jigs that are coming back?
Okay, well, we the 4.0 light was discontinued for many years, and it just so many people were just jumping all over these things from the used tackle guys, spending $80, $90, $100, and to be honest with you, one of the main reasons why I brought this jig back was a young kid came up to me at the booth and said, I just spent $80 on one jig.
Yeah.
And I said, gosh, you can't be more than 10 or 12 years old, and you spent $80 of your money or your parents' money to buy an old jig where you could have bought close to 10 of something else.
Yeah.
And I really thought that kid was taken advantage of. And I said, well, forget those guys making $80 on a jig. Let's just get these things out and sell them for $15 and call it a day.
Yeah. Good.
So that was, I mean.
That's an interesting, great story.
Yeah.
It says a lot about you.
Yeah, it's, but the neat thing about this jig is it does, for a smaller or medium-sized jig, it's flat-backed, it casts well through the wind, and it swims fast.
Yeah.
So especially for the yellowtail guys, the 4.0 light or even the 4.0 senior will be a really good one. If you like fast retrieve jigs.
Jamie Gutierrez says, hi, a.k.a. the Sac. Danny Wade, the jig fishing legend. He got me into jig fishing, reading about his jig fishing. Danny Wade's a heck of a fisherman, right?
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Mike Perez, Minty Egg 45. Always have one. Don't travel anywhere without it, he said.
Yep. That's actually, Mike Perez, I was fishing with him one time, and, we're talking about how jigs swim, and I watched him. He said, there's something not right. The jig swims fine, but something's not right. And he changed jigs, and I swear the first cast he made, boom, hooked a fish.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's more so, it's the mindset now. It's the mindset that he saw something, he needed to make an adjustment.
Yeah.
It wasn't that the jig didn't swim, he just changed jigs, and bam, he got bit. And that's kind of like an instinctive thing that takes time.
Angler.
It's the angler. It takes time. You don't learn these things overnight. I can't teach it to you.
Right.
Nobody can teach that except himself with experience. He saw that, made the adjustment, bam, caught a fish.
Wow. That's amazing, right?
I was on a trip once, fishing yellows, and I was throwing out my jig. I kept getting short bit. I'm like, what in the world? It was a 45. I says, gosh. So I says, maybe the jig's too big. So I tied on the small jig. I couldn't buy one. Went back to the same jig. I said, well, at least I'm getting some action here. And I'm doing the same thing, short bit again. So I says, you know what? I'm going to try speeding up.
Yep.
Sped up, wham, it was on.
Oh,
So it's angler.
More reaction.
Right? Yeah.
Makes sense. Doug Rubin from the El Sueño says, hello from windy San Diego. It's windy everywhere right now. But the forecast is for the winds to subside when the Amigo, not when we depart, we're going to have a bumpy ride, but in the morning it's going to be beautiful. I had this guy, I won't even say his name, but he was concerned, in 30 seconds, he was concerned about it being 100 degrees offshore, so he wanted sunscreen, and then about a hurricane blowing out there. And I'm like, generally, you don't have 100 degrees. I mean, well, you could, actually you do, but anyway, we're going to be fine. It's going to be good. I finally got one right, I think. Christopher Martinez, need to start reproducing those stamped Go-Go's and Ys.
We still have the Ys for sale in a few selected colors. Go-Go's, we may have a stash or two laying around the shop.
Oh, what to find out about that?
I think the trick with Joey is you just have to keep bugging him for an average of about 11 years, and then it'll come back.
Perfect. Do you want to give his cell number out? Or what? They can just catch you at Stars Cafe, right?
Once in a while,
Westminster.
he brings a jig back that I'm super excited about. Like the BAs, super excited. And they reintroduced those, so. But a little bit of convincing sometimes. AKA
the Sack says, get the kids outside and fish. Couldn't agree more.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Tuna North, got my first flat metal Taddy 1 for my 12th birthday. in 1966.
Amazing.
Wow, caught tons of fish with it on the city of Redondo.
Hi, Steve.
Is that Steve?
Yeah,
Oh.
Steve Carson.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, man. And still have that jig. A lot of good fishermen came out of Redondo.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them, but I mean, there was a lot of other guys who were great fishermen who came out of
I do have
Redondo.
an interesting story.
Anthony
about,
laughs at
about
my joke.
Steve, though. He was a buyer for Big Five.
Oh, yeah.
Along with Ronnie Kovac.
Uh-huh.
And,
Ronnie Kovac was the shoe guy,
the
wasn't
shoe
he?
guy. He
Yeah,
was the
right.
shoe guy. Steve was the tackle manager.
Uh-huh.
And from what I understood, they would bring out a shopping cart to the station wagon we had, and they would just fill it to the top with fishing lures.
Really? Wow. Jeez. Travis Bright. Hey, Phil, are you able to drop off the jig I won last week at Island Fishing Tackle? I'll be passing by Friday. Anthony Amalfitano has already taken care of that,
I
Travis.
dropped him off.
We don't fool
It
around
has a
here.
name, it has a tag on. My wife made a bitchin' tag.
All right, there's a tag, and it's all there. We're going to get Anthony in here right when I catch up with a few more. You're going to come in with that jig and do something. All right.
Meet you guys. I brought an old jig.
Mari Lopes, do they still make the Y2?
We still have stock of the Y2. I wouldn't say we currently make it anymore, and it's only because we don't really fish the slide that much anymore.
That's the reason.
We don't troll as much, and we don't fish the slide as much, and we haven't had albacore in quite some time.
That's right. Because some idiot keeps predicting they're going to come back. Who is that, by the way?
I don't know.
Drinking way too much coffee.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
We're giving away two I'm not giving away.
Yep.
Your man Joey, two of these. Anthony's going to have some trivia questions.
I can pop some.
All right. Anthony's
We'll
going to
think of
have
something.
trivia questions. And at the end of tonight's show, Joey is going to share a secret about how you can tune your jig that has never, ever reached the public before tonight. This is a monumental night.
Do I know the secret?
Does he know it?
I don't know. I always thought it was common knowledge, to be honest with you, but apparently not.
All right. Yeah. Well, don't tell. It's not common knowledge. This is the first time. Come on, get these
It's a
people.
very,
get these people to hang on through the whole
very
show.
little adjustment, but it can make a world of difference.
Enough said. Until a little bit later in the show.
Can I ask a live question?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
All right?
Yeah. You want to? Why don't you jump in the middle there?
Come on.
Well, then you got a mic there.
All right. When I pick my jig,
Nice and loud.
nowadays, this is an old jig, but someone taught me when you go like this, feeling the smoothness of it could depend on how good it swims. Does that have anything to do with how the jig is made, or I mean, does it have the looseness of the eye?
that
have
is-
anything to do with
Actually,
it?
I would do that when I was trying to
I
hypnotize
saw
my
someone-
wife.
That was my question, though.
Yeah. Well, that's a good question.
It is a very good question.
No,
I
it's
do
not. It's
see
a really ridiculous question.
I do see
no,
a
it's
lot of
great
people
question.
doing that.
Okay.
I do see a lot of more. That's probably one of the easiest
And
ways,
sometimes it
you
binds.
know. And sometimes it binds, sometimes it doesn't.
Did you bring Dorado fillets for me?
I got 3 holder.
That is a magnificent question. That's brilliant.
I just went yesterday. So.
Brilliant question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, you know that is just one of the many factors into choosing a jig. If you're just going to look at a jig off of the wall without being able to test it, that is one way to help choose a right jig.
okay.
But there is so many different factors
I
that
know.
if you were to base a jig off of that, it's probably not going to make a difference. There's so many other factors.
10-4.
All right, Tuna North again. I think that's Steve, right?
Yep.
Thank you so much for bringing back the 4.0 light. Jamie Gutierrez, gray and white has made it happen for me almost everything. Thank you, Tady Lures.
Thank you.
Isn't that
Thank
nice?
you, man.
Like you
Big
said, that gray and white gives that mint shade almost like
Yeah.
it could be the shade.
Big Duke 10. Anyone else here notice that Joe looks like a younger version of Danny Cadota?
I don't know if that's good or bad.
Yeah, I don't either. You do a little bit, actually. Is that good?
I don't know.
Danny a handsome guy? Or
All I know is I could outcast the guy, so.
oh, there you go. There you go,
I'm fishing with
Danny.
Danny Cadota this weekend.
Casting competition, the pier, remember?
Oh yeah, we got to do that. Danny Cadota, him and who's the guy that travels all over the place and he's got a company. He's friends with.
Steve Yatomi?
Yeah.
Steve Yatomi.
So these guys come in and they do this frickin' knocked the home run out of the ballpark. They did it, and I forget who else. Oh, I forget. But they come in, they knock, great show. So we're getting ready to put the show up. My moronic kids took the camera and went out and filmed bass fishing and taped over their show.
Oh, no.
And it took me like forever to get, finally say, hey, I'm sorry, because I was like, you morons, I'm going to kill you. And they did it to somebody else too. But so I got to have them back because they were great guests.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Tuna North sneaking in. Steve, when's the next Seeker Tips this Thursday? So he does. I think he does a thing with the searcher, doesn't he? Or
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Yes.
Yeah. So and it's a great tip. So tune into that. However you do that. I'm not sure. Do you know? Steve, put it up there.
Yeah.
We'll read it. So let's do that. All right. Yellowtail 69 Wasabi. Any T5 Chrome?
T5 Chrome, old flat metal. There's a lot of questions on old flat metal.
Yeah.
That's an old.
You better bring them back.
A little bit longer, skinny flat metal jig. To my knowledge, more guys use it for wahoo fishing than anything.
I think you got one on your rack at the.
So yeah, we have them.
Okay.
I got them. They're not necessarily an item we stock for sale, but I do have them.
Mark says, give up all the secrets tonight.
Give up all the secrets.
Yes.
Well,
We've already given a few.
I got a handful.
Where to get a cup of coffee? You're giving out all the secrets. 51 Soriano. That kid is not lying. I'm not going to mention any shop names, but yeah, I paid $70 for a 4.0 Wounded Soldier color. So the kid, yeah, and that's what induced you.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Right. It wasn't for me to make $70. It was more so just to
Even the playing field.
supply anglers with a product that they want.
Yeah.
Without taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I can't stand, to see people of any age spending, buku bucks on a jig, just because it's cool, or we don't make it anymore. To me, I don't like that.
Good deal. Good deal. Anthony. Yeah. Albert Pont says that was a great question. And then he follows it up by saying, where's my Dorado now? Well,
Get his BUT down here. I got extra. I'm going tomorrow again. Some people go on a dinner date. I'm going on a Dorado date.
You're going with your wife?
Just me and my wife.
On what?
My 24-foot.
Oh, nice. You shoot some video of your wife catching a fish.
I'll bring the. She's better than me.
I was telling these guys, because he's nuts about fishing.
Too much fishing,
And I told him, when a cameraman used to come to me and he'd say, I really don't like fishing, I'd say, you're freaking hired. You are hired. You don't want to pick up a rod when they're biting?
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Got it. So I get it, man. It's hard to, right?
Yeah.
When they're biting. I'm at the point where I'm trying to build this channel, and that's really important to me. So, like when I go on the Amigo, I won't touch a rod because I'm after trying to preserve that moment for that guy.
Yeah.
So he can go home and show
Sure.
people this great catch that he made, and he's actually got it on video, because who the hell else is going to shoot that?
Right.
Everybody else is fishing.
Right.
And so if I can do that, I figure it's a nice thing to do for the person, but it's a great business move because he shares that with 600,000 other people, and helps to build the thing. So there's a method to my
I'm
madness.
sensing that you enjoy seeing people.
I do.
Catching fish, maybe more so than yourself.
I love people, number one.
So-
I do. So, that's
And
why
that's
I
a
like the
beautiful thing.
bartending gig, because you meet so many, and I just love people. And at this point,
It's
I've caught a lot of, I
Right,
did
right.
commercial fishing, and I did the whole thing. I still love to do it,
yeah, of course.
but I do get a lot of joy out of that.
maybe
Like,
seeing young children fishing.
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
more for the heart than anything.
Yeah. I mean, you don't go
I
to
agree.
China and teach 4th and 5th graders if you don't love kids.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
or if you have the mentality of
Right.
them, which is more about me. So, all right, Roland, I tie a perfection loop or Baja knot on my jigs for a little bit of extra action. Either one of you two
Oh.
gentlemen.
Oh, okay. So there's a little loop.
I get freaked out on that, on the mono anyway. I can only imagine because, I guess you could do that with if wire is the only way to rig it, but with mono, it just kind of, how do you even begin to tie?
Is that yours?
Yeah, he's got his own one.
Oh, bring it over here and show Joey. Look at that,
This is a
Joey.
yeah, this is a Y2. Yep, stamp.
This young kid, this is like it transcends age and everything. Because this kid, how old are you, Danny?
16.
16.
This lure is older than 16 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, this lure is older than
Thank you, Danny.
Yeah.
You get another star.
You guys
Let's see,
still make
Joey's going to take it now. You lost your jig.
single hooks? Are you guys
Yep.
ever doing?
Yep, just made a bunch. It's
Yeah.
kind of a
Anthony asked if
pain
they
in the
make
butt to
single
make.
hooks.
Are they?
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt to make because there's a lot of work into it. Yeah,
You should
believe it
stand
or
between
not.
those guys. You'll be right on mic.
Mm-hmm.
Because
So-
you can just stand there.
We
Because
haven't
you have a
made
lot of good questions.
We haven't made a whole lot of
And
them
move
because
closer
the
so we can
kudos
see you
haven't
on the
been
camera.
around.
Right. So my main question was just from back in the Pin 500 days. Had this lure forever. Not really sure how old it is. I've sanded this hook down quite a few times, but shaking off the fish was always so easy, and I just didn't really know if it was ever like a swimming factor that they got rid of, like, or they just don't make the single hook, or if the
We-
what
Well,
happened
that-
with that, like kind of what they,
The-
but yeah,
One of the main things is we just haven't had the cuda fishery
right.
Yeah.
recently. In the years of the kudas, this is the #1 jig, and we cannot keep up with production
Really?
with these things
Oh,
because
really?
it's just insane. There's
Yeah.
so many anglers going barracuda fishing from half day to 3/4 day.
Yeah.
And they're all throwing jigs.
Absolutely.
And it's great. It's absolutely great. But yeah, it's just
Now when
it's
I
hard
throw
to
that,
make.
I would gasp. So now I don't have to gasp.
No, yeah,
Okay, all right.
we still make it. Yeah, we still make it.
Joey,
Is there a reason why
go ahead.
Taddy 45 is not really a good single hook jig?
It
'cause
just swims differently.
Okay.
I've always felt the
Wider.
sea was a better swimming jig. Actually, to be
I
honest
love the
with you,
sea,
I feel the sea swims more like an anchovy,
and that's
and
maybe,
that's
maybe growing up in
that's
San Pedro. That's why.
that's kind of why the
yeah.
kudas, I think, like they're always
don't be
been
afraid to stand over there.
anchovy
Because then
fish.
we can
So-
hear you. You can be part of this. Go ahead. All right. Ruben Lopez. Joey, what is your, I think he's asking what your favorite jig stick is.
Currently I like the CalStar 90J.
Uh-huh.
The old glass 90J.
Anthony likes that too.
Love it.
That's
Yeah,
my
it's
favorite.
been my dad's
The load on
jig
it
stick.
is just
Yep.
unreal.
And I could do everything from a service iron to
So cheap.
fishing sardines and anchovies.
Your favorite?
Currently,
Yes.
it's that I like that Cousins 95J mag.
Ooh.
Absolutely love it. And second place to that would be a modified Super Seeker F100. I cut to 9.7. Really good stick.
Jeff Yeomans, what is your favorite jig stick?
CalStar 540.
What a surprise! 540 slingers, CalStar 540. All right, let's see. Where are we here? Got so many questions, so many people watching. Give us a like, please, out there. These guys can't go home until we hit 200. No, you know what? We're screwing this up. You guys can't go home. We're going to end the show early, and you're not going to give the secrets out if we don't hit. That's how we got to threaten
We'll just
everybody.
have to do another show again.
I brought a reel with. I can't tie a knot. Like I need somebody to tie some fluorocarbon on.
Right.
My blade. Like I came down, man.
Oh.
All right, Dan Smith, for the Taddy 45, when I need to replace the hook, what do you recommend for the best?
Didn't think about that.
Exactly what it came with.
Can you get them? Stock?
You could get them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few options. If you go to the tackle shop, that's your Taddy dealer, you can always give it to them, and they might, they could give it to us, and we could replace it.
Oh, okay.
I don't always recommend that because oftentimes things get lost.
Yeah.
Okay. But what you can do is if you buy a replacement treble hook, I'm not sure if you can see that, but you could cut the eye of the hook, open it up with a pair of pliers, and then put it back on the ring and just close it. You don't
Okay.
need to weld it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in general,
That's not the big tip, right?
no.
Thank God.
But it's scary because it's an opened eye hook now.
Yeah.
But you have to pull very, very hard to get that eye to open
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
So that was a trick Danny Way taught me.
Well, that's
Like
awesome.
a on the water trick. I think if you hook a seal or something, or you're battling a seal or a yellowtail or something like that, that's gonna bend the hook down. If it's a good jig for that day, and you got the barb or something, yeah, I think that's a really good way to do it. It's hard to cut through some of these super
Oh,
duper
yeah,
new
it's-
treble hooks, though.
Yeah.
But it can be done.
Eric S. wants to hear a good story about your pops or grandpa.
Well, I don't have very many stories about my grandpa. He passed away right when just after I was born.
Okay.
Let's see, a fishing story with my father was fishing Catalina, fishing sea bass, and everybody's fishing jigs. And I remember going off on my own, grabbing a white jig, and just dropping it straight down without squid.
Yeah.
And hooking up. And
Nice.
I remember the look on his face was, how did you do that? You
Oh.
didn't even have squid on it.
Yeah.
How did you catch that?
Yeah. Oh, bitchin'. That's a great memory. Yeah. Abraham Esparza, he is a private boater. His bait well is not working. Or his bait pump, I'm guessing. What's the next best thing for Dorado on patties? If you're not going to carry any live bait, what do you want to do?
You know, chrome works really good.
Yeah.
You know, so I would recommend a small chrome jig.
Okay.
Maybe a TLC or a number 9, or maybe a small version of a slow pitch jig. You know, something small is probably what I would recommend.
Yeah. I'm missing one. Danny, where are you? I'm going to kill you. Like the Mad Mac craze, people take advantage. So he's talking about,
The whole situation.
you know, some guys are selling Mad Macs.
I've seen
I-
lowering their
it's-
price to $100 now.
It is, though, supply and demand in a way. It's like, you know, capitalism in a
Yeah.
way, right? I mean,
Why not
if people are
go
willing to buy it, right? I mean, the guy, whoever, I know who they're talking about. And, I mean, but if he had the force, I mean, I don't
I don't.
have a problem
I'm
with it.
not saying I
I wouldn't pay that.
Yeah,
but that's me. But some guy who needs
yeah.
a Mad Mac and
yeah.
didn't figure out, I mean, you don't agree because, yeah, I know, you think it's
and they
taking
go
advantage of
off
people,
by a Mako.
exploiting
Yeah,
people.
exactly.
I've spent countless dollars building a new 4.0 light.
Right, and for that reason.
For that reason.
I get you.
You know, so that's my mind thought about it is I'd rather help our anglers, help our customers,
I like it.
than to bring only 10 of these out and sell them for $80 a
So,
piece.
I wouldn't want anything different from a manufacturer.
Yeah.
I want that attitude. Yeah, that's great. Very admirable, for sure. Steve Bermudez wants to know what's your opinion of fluorescent colors on a Taddy jig?
Ooh, fluorescent colors.
Woo!
That's a good question.
It is.
Didn't Danny paint his jig fluorescent once to prove
Dorado jig.
Yeah, you know, a lot of guys will always say the brighter jigs for brighter days. So there's a time and place, you know, something like this, you know, you could see it a mile away when you cast it on, and it's under the surface, you can see it.
That is so cool.
It's really neat. It's really neat.
And you surmise the fish can too?
I think the fish can see it from a further distance.
Which is super important.
But probably more the way they could pick it up more so than sight is actually the sound.
Oh, okay.
It's the rings.
Yeah. Yep, they pick lateral lines on fish or whatever, pick up those sounds. Yeah. Best coast fishing. How do you offset hips on a jig and a flat versus pointed nose affect how the jig swims? This isn't the surprise thing.
No.
Don't divulge that. Everybody, by the way, Anthony's going to be asking a question here shortly. We're going to be giving this away. And once again, Joey is going to divulge a secret that Jeff Yeomans drove all the way from where? Pasadena? Pasadena to here. So, come on, build this up a little bit. I'm just kidding.
A lot of guys talk about offset hips, the offset eyes.
Yeah, I talk about that at Stars Cafe, actually. They offset hips.
I prefer them a little more cylindrical and skinny.
Oh, okay.
But you know, again, there is a lot of different factors and elements to getting a jig to swim. I wouldn't necessarily say the way you want it to swim, or necessarily more importantly, the way the fish wants it to swim. But you know, yeah, like this particular jig, I don't know if you can see it, but you know, you see that offset eye, you know, on both ends, and then the hips is also offset. One's a sharper angle, the other one's a little more rounded, you know, so in theory, right, this is what you're looking for, you know, in a jig, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I hope that helps, but again, I would still go out and swim this jig and say, oh, okay, hey, this is swimming better on a medium retrieve. This is also, if you notice, a pointed nose one. So it cuts through the water a little bit easier. So you don't need to retrieve it as fast to get it to move. A lot of people think, oh, pointed jigs swim fast.
Yep. So swimming real fast.
But the resistance is a lot less. So you could actually swim it slower.
Excellent stuff. I got to tell you, you're a great guest, both of you two. Really fantastic. No, I'm serious. You guys are good.
Thank you.
AKA the Sack, any tips for a setup for somebody wanting to get into jig fishing? I guess you don't want a 10-foot like he's throwing for a guy that's just getting into it, right?
See, we talked about this too. We talked about this at the cigar lounge before the show. We talk about this every day. And, you know, I guess you can start someone off and say, hey, go with the 8-footer.
Yeah.
You know what happens? Goes with the 8-footer, and he sees somebody with a 9 who's probably just starting out, same kind of skill set on the boat, and the guy with a 9-footer is going to
wailing on him. Yeah, of course.
Right. So we kind of agreed when we were at the cigar lounge that 9-footer is probably a good start. 10, it starts to get, if you're not sure of what you're doing yet,
it's
it
a little
does get a little
difficult.
difficult. But 9 is something that I'm very big on just to recommend to if you're starting out. And then of course we can get into some of the other lengths that we fished. We fished 10s, 11s, 11 and a halves. But 9 is a good start in my opinion.
All right, Tangle Diver, 1994 was the year of the Pacific Barracuda, my intro into jig fishing. Yeah, I think Barracuda is kind of the gateway fish for fishing jigs, right?
I don't. Barracuda for the last couple of years here, I guess we don't know what we have until it's gone. Folks like Joey and I here, we're like, gosh, if they were to bite all over again, it'd be an awful lot of fun. But there's nothing better than learning how to cast a jig than getting bit too, right?
Yeah,
Those
right.
Things eat them. I mean,
I eat them
fun.
so good.
And I saw Jeff Markland. He posted the other day. He made fish tacos out of barracuda.
Yeah.
People think they're disgusting. Well, no, you just you handle them right.
Take care of your catch
but
treat them with the dignity and respect they deserve.
That is what hooked me on fishing with Ray on the Matt Walsh. First barracuda that I got. That was it.
Yeah, I know.
I am sold.
That might have been me too, because it's such a it's this big fish. You're a kid, and you get this thing.
They pull hard.
Yeah, they're a bitchin' fish, except for the slime.
Yeah, they do stink.
Steve Bermudez with my Y models. I have caught calico bass, yellowtail, barracuda, bonita, any of the tunas. It's a great swimming jig. Steve Bermudez, good friend of mine and a good guy. Been fishing a long time. Tangle Diver says, learn to weld. I guess searching back to talking about what you were, talking about, I guess, the ring.
Well, you could, here's a problem is, where are you going to find a replacement ring?
Yeah.
You can't just buy one.
No, you can cut the weld and try to re-weld over it, but any experienced welder will tell you it's difficult to weld on top of a weld. So it's doable, it's possible.
Yeah.
A little difficult.
Yep. All right. AKA the Sack got on a great barracuda bite at the Coronado Islands. My son Ethan was having such a great time. Told me, Dad, this is so much fun.
That's great.
That's great. He's a great guy, and I think we're going to be at Bass Pro Shops doing. You should be there. You should come. Yeah, September 10th. Are you coming, Anthony?
No, I will be a Saturday. Oh, I have a baptism to go to. That's
a baptism. We'll let you out for a baptism.
The barracuda thing?
That's code for Stars Cafe. Yeah.
I was just thinking about barracuda for a second here.
Yeah.
For all your guests that are listening.
Yeah.
It teaches you so much if you think about it. One, it teaches you how to wind through the bite.
Yep.
Right?
That's true.
Right? Follow your fish. Yeah. It teaches you how to cast accurately.
Yeah.
Right? So it really is. It's a gateway fish.
It is. It
If they're
is.
small and they're busy, they're like, just bounce it, bro. And I'm like, okay.
All right, some big shots are starting to join the show now. Darren Dohe.
Uh-oh.
I love Darren. 310 Rodworks is tuned in from Gardena, California. What are your thoughts on fishing surface iron with mono, fluoro, or braid?
Ooh. Okay. Recently on my trip to Cedros, I had all my top shots tied on with fluorocarbon, and by day one I cut them all off and went back to mono.
Why?
I shouldn't say straight mono, but just a mono leader.
Guessing you
Why?
wanted stretch.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
I needed stretch, and It just fluorocarbon's hard to tie. It's stiff, and I wanted something that I could easily, quickly just boom, 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 and get back on the water. And fluorocarbon's great. It's abrasive. Abrasion resistant. So for those factors, I think it's great. So it just depends on what you're kind of doing.
Agree or disagree?
I fish braid to 5-foot section of 50-pound fluoro. I think the jigs, like talking about like the resistance and making them swim good. I think they swim really good that way. But for me, when you get bit, there's no question about it. You turn the handle on them and away you go. I can cast really good with braided line, but I can't do it on an open face conventional reel.
Classical music, ACDC, fluorocarbon, monofilament. You two guys don't get along, do
Yeah,
you?
but you forgot one. Though.
Go ahead. What?
Wire.
Wire. That was, when I was a kid, I can still remember Rick Evinger saying to me, what? Oh, from the Malahini?
Yeah. Sure. You can come in.
Bill Wilkerson's there? Oh. So anyway.
Someone you fish with.
All right, well, he can stand there, but yeah, what was I saying?
Well, we were talking about wire.
Oh, wire. Yeah. Rick Evinger told me when I was a kid. Yeah. Hey, Roderick, come on in here, man. What's up, man? Get in here, man. Good to see you. How are you? Look in that camera there.
Good to see you.
Over here a little further. Hey, man, it's good to see you. Thanks for checking in. What are you doing? Going on the Freedom?
No, we just stopped by real quick.
John Moore! I love this guy. John, say hi to everybody out there. Lean in a little bit.
Hello,
Lean in. This is the guy from Tady Lures here, man. It's a party now. All right, good job.
We had a trip on the Malahini today,
Oh, yeah.
and caught some yellow. So I caught a yellow. I know it's probably won't win, but that big fish contest they have.
Yeah.
I just came up here to weigh it out.
Nice job, man. Are you weighing it now, or did you weigh it? Beautiful. Show the camera there. There you go. John Moore on the Malahini with Bill Wilkerson today. We love fishing with Bill, right?
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, he's such a good guy. This guy makes the best tuna salad in the world. John, step in here just one more time. I'm telling
I'll
you.
hold you up to that.
I'm telling you, that's part of the reason why I show up
I do a smoked tuna salad.
It's so good.
Gotcha.
It's so good. John,
Well, good to see you.
you too, man. Thanks for coming by.
Nice meeting you.
All right.
Nice meeting you.
The Freeman Adventures family right there. John Moore. Yeah, and Roderick. They're both great guys. So yeah, wire. Go back to the wire.
Well,
Boy, it's getting out of control in here.
Wire is another option too. There's a lot of great things. The only downside is it can kink
Yeah.
and there's no stretch. So, but it does add some amazing action to your lure.
This is the first time I've ever heard you object to something being kinky, but okay, we'll go with that. David Maestro, you know him?
Yep.
David, if you pay attention, you will see your photo pop up there from time to time because I was clairvoyant and I knew you'd be checking out. I love Dave. He's a great guy.
Yes, he is.
And a hell of a fisherman. Do you know him?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you do, right? Yeah. Javier Lopez, how far can each of you sling a jig? Anthony, I'm going to throw you out of here. I'm only kidding. Why didn't he talk that loud when he's near the microphone?
The last time I cast a jig and actually measured it was with Danny Cadota, and it was 91 yards.
That's a great cast. What about you?
Far enough to catch a fish.
There you go. Me too.
Accuracy.
I'm afraid I haven't been fishing. Like I said, I'm always shooting video. I got to get, but I used to be able to wing a jig a long way. And there's nothing more fun than that, getting bit when it's way the hell out there. I love it. Hector Cordero, would you recommend fluorocarbon or not to the jig and swivels or line straight to the jig? Also, can you guys say hi to my 10-year-old daughter, Giselle? She loves fishing. I'll take that. Giselle.
Hi, Giselle.
Hi, Giselle.
Your dad, Hector, is such a great guy and such a great fisherman. And you know what, Giselle? We so much appreciate you watching Freedman Adventures tonight. Right, guys?
Thank you
Absolutely.
for tuning in.
All right. Next time it's your birthday, Giselle, let us know so we can wish you a happy birthday. But thank you so much. All right. Did you get that question or did we just answer that? All right. So would you recommend fluorocarbon or not to the jig and swivels or line straight to the jig?
No swivels.
Yeah, no
Yeah,
swivels.
no.
It doesn't matter what line you tie, as long as there's a fluorocarbon or a mono or of some sort. I don't know if any guys fishing straight spectra to jigs per se. Really.
Yeah, I think a couple
But,
of guys tried it, but you
yeah.
know they end up getting chewed off too.
David
Yeah, it's okay for you.
David Maestro just retracted his comment, so God knows what he was saying. I hope it was about you, not me. And so did AK.
If you put too many words, it cuts you
Yeah,
off.
I know.
It says retract.
Hey, another guy, Dennis. What's up, man? Come in here and say hello to
How you doing, brother?
Dennis. Good to see you, man.
Same.
Love you.
Love you too, man.
Put your head in the camera here
All right.
and say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody. How you doing?
Part of the Friedman Adventure family. Dennis.
All right.
Dennis, you know I love you, man. How was fishing on the Malahini today?
It was cool.
Good?
Got a bunch of yellowtail.
Perfect. Would you guys fish the islands today?
Just the island.
Yeah. Oh, you're so lucky because Scott was going to go on that trip today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't make it, so you lucked out.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, we had fun, man.
Good to see you.
All right, you missed out, too.
I
I
know.
brought some tuna casserole.
Oh, is it here?
The smoke.
Oh,
tuna
is it
casserole.
still here or no?
Oh,
I missed
yeah.
out.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
on the
missed
boat.
Because it was different from the other one.
Oh, man. All right, well, I'm going to have to come over to your house and watch you make it sometime and film that.
Yeah.
All right, Dennis,
All right,
thank you.
brother. I'll
Good to see
later,
you.
Man.
It's good to see you.
All right.
Take care. Have a good one.
You guys take care.
Thanks for coming by.
No problem, man.
All right, man, thank you for coming by. That means a lot to me. These guys are great guys. All right, let's see. Caught my 2 personal best bluefin tuna on the Pacifica 2 years ago, both 187 pounds back to back on the same Taddy 14A. Run and gun with knife jigs, but us, the 14A, when the school stuck to the boat, still looking for a cow. Shoot, man, that's great.
That's
back
great,
to
yeah.
back, nice.
Can I say something? on that?
Sure. No,
Oh.
you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to talk.
So we were fishing in San Diego, and all the bluefin were eating baits that were about that big. Right?
Yeah.
So naturally, we all thought, well, what's our smallest lure that we have, right? Match the hatch. Captain says, no. Going about it all wrong. Fish the biggest jig that you have. I said, what? Why would you fish the biggest jig when the fish are only, or your bait is only this big? He says, that big jig, that 14A, mimics a smaller bait ball, and at which the tuna will more likely attack a smaller bait ball maybe than versus a bigger bait ball.
Yeah, well, that makes
So
sense.
It's the exact opposite of what kind of we naturally think, but
Makes sense to you?
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's
again,
crazy. I mean,
again, it goes on. Not what you think is the right jig; it's what the fish think is the right jig.
Yeah.
I see 500-gram jigs about this big, about this long here, and 25-pound bluefin swallowing them. You're just like with a 5/0 treble, a big old
Right.
treble on the bottom too. Like,
When 11-inch calico hits a Taddy
Right,
45,
right.
It's like, what
yeah.
the heck?
David Maestro says, hit that like button almost to 100. Come on, folks, hit that
Almost
like
there.
button. It means a lot to us. Big Duke X. Phil, is Brian Shaw in the lineup for a show at any point? So I told you I ran into Todd Phillips. He was the captain of the boat when we took Brian on his first white sea bass trip. Brian got a 51-pounder. His son BJ, who's going to be in the NBA here pretty soon, caught some fish. My kids caught some fish. So Big Duke X, you know what? I need to call Todd Phillips and say, let's do a reunion trip. And then after, we'll go get Brian his first bluefin.
There you go.
And then we'll come back and do a podcast with him.
There you
I'll reach out to him tonight. No, it's a little late. Tomorrow I will reach out to him. It's a good idea. Don't forget to hit the like button one more time. David Maestro, a.k.a. The Sack. He's going to be at Bass Pro. Excited. Heading out Sunday, day and a half. Ethan and I are ready for it. Yes.
I got a question for Dan.
Come on in here and get on this microphone. Why don't you just stay there? You don't have to run in and
I
out.
got to get fish for people coming off the boat.
Oh, no. Save that fish for me.
Hey, Dan Smith and his wife.
Oh,
from
okay.
San Diego,
Yeah.
Another big part of the Friedman family.
Absolutely. They're all excited about the gaff you're
I know,
making.
and I had a question. So I have the gaff at 8 feet right now, but I could cut it to any length that you want. I put a 3/0 gaff hook on it to kind of match the smaller grade yellowtail and the Dorado that we're getting right now. Just wanted to know what length you want your gaff at, brother.
Perfect.
Yeah, pink, hot pink.
You can stay here if you want, or whatever you want to do. Yeah. I mean, you're a big part of Well, you're going to have to ask a trivia question here in a second.
I got one for you.
All right. Well, let's stay right there for a second. Fish zone. Oh, wait a minute. AKA the sack, I turned the big 40 today. Here's to the next decade. Happy birthday! All right, number 1. All right, fish the zone. Took my good friend's father cuda fishing. Never have I seen a largemouth bass fisherman convert so fast. May he rest in peace. But yeah, right?
That's great.
I remember that, like when I went freshwater fishing and then I finally went saltwater fishing, I'm like,
Done.
Yeah.
I'm not fishing for bait anymore. I'm like barracuda and stuff like that, right?
Fishing is a feel thing. And
Yeah.
largemouth bass, I mean, you have to have a feel for it.
This is why I'm taking my wife for Dorado tomorrow. I'm gonna get her hooked on
There-
her first trip.
Perfect. I'll tell you how I got my wife
She's
hooked
gonna
on
be like,
Dorado.
This is how fishing is all the time.
We were in the
Yeah,
East
but
Cape.
all the time.
We were catching Dorado, like a mile off the beach. I got in because she didn't go fishing, and I go, "Come on!" And she's like, "I don't want to do it." And I'm like, "Come on!" So we go out, frickin' hang this 40-pound Dorado. She fights, and I'm helping her. We get it on. I'm like, "Yeah, good job, Ruth. What do you think?" And she goes, "Can we go in now?" Well, that was the end of that with her. I want to go back to the spa or whatever it was. All right, David Maestro retracted. It was all about wire, y'all. You read my mind. Oh, there you are. Perfect. AK the Sack, answer my question on wiring a jig. Anthony Amalfitano is standing here, and yet there's a text from him. Jeff, there's something odd going on here. Yes. Come on, family. We got 112 people watching and only 90 likes.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Come on, hit the like button. I love it.
Watch and like it.
Steve Bermudez, does Taddy make any freshwater lures? Something in the 3/4 ounce size.
Let's see.
Do you?
We have a 50-gram TSP jig. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that we designed for vertical fishing for largemouth when they're fishing deep. Like
Uh-huh.
Diamond Valley in the wintertime, oftentimes they're fishing 50 feet or 75 feet. Little vertical jig, a little slow pitch jig, and it basically just bounces up and down.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
Here's a great question. I think I'm going to throw it in your direction. Luis. He's a newbie. Thank you, Luis. These are the guys that we want watching this show.
Absolutely.
Luis.
Yeah.
Luis is going to be on the Pacific Queen for a 3-day trip in a few weeks. Any tips for a newbie?
Yeah,
Go
I
ahead.
got one.
Go ahead. I know what it is. Introduce yourself to the crew.
Well,
Oh,
you'll
well,
know
that's
for
important,
sure.
right? Don't
That
be
for
shy
sure.
about saying you're a newbie, Luis,
Yeah,
but go ahead.
But right now, I think the bait situation down in San Diego, so many boats are going on. You can obviously coming back with a lot of big loads. The bait has been pressured. So that's
Everybody's
already
running
in.
out of bait now,
Well,
right?
they're not running out, but it's being pressured so that bait doesn't have a chance to cure.
Right.
So what's happening is that if you're what I noticed on our last trip, everybody's looking for the bait. The bait was not actually swimming at all. We went for the ugly ones and they swam. The point is that it's basic fundamentals of fly line fishing, fly line.
Yeah.
Change your bait often. I'm not. I've watched guys take a bait on our trip and throw it in 8, 9, 10 times, and I'm thinking it's not squid. You know, if it doesn't do what you want after the second cast, pitch it and put another one on.
Right.
You have to try different things with your bait. Try different hooking ways of hooking it. Whether it's a belly hook, whether it's a collar hook, or whether it's a shoulder hook. Nose hook, not so much, especially when this bait it's not as strong. One of the methods that I taught. Showed a couple of the guys on our trip.
Yeah.
Anthony, you might know this one. You remember the heart hook? It's right under, you know that
Right
one?
underneath the gill.
Yeah. Right underneath the
Monte
gill
Carlo,
there.
that was something that we did for Barracuda.
Yeah, and so you gotta try everything to get this bait to go out. And I'm convinced, I know if it gets out there and you're staying in touch with it.
We went 2 days ago. Jason and I, we were
Get in here so we can see you.
we went 2 days ago. Jason and I, and just a little bit touch on that. He's talking about all around and in tuna fishing. The Dorado bite specifically, where we were at, we ran out of bait. So I got
Did you run out of bait because it was crappy bait, or just
we
you
ran
just
out of
ran
bait
out?
because the bite was unbelievable.
Oh, that's even better, right?
And so for the first time, first Dorado on a 40-gram all chrome Daiwa Sakana jig. That was my first Dorado ever on any kind of jig. So like you said, all chrome, small as you can get.
Yeah.
It was reactionary bite. We were close to people throwing chum, and it happened on that Daiwa Sakana. And I do know that some people have gotten them on the Colt Sniper, like I said, reactionary bite. Smaller the better kind of thing.
Perfect.
But we ran out of bait.
So, and Luis, I wasn't joking, and I know you're not joking either. Walk on the boat, walk up to the crew and say, hey, I'm new at this.
Yes.
I could really use your advice and counsel, and I could even need you like standing next to me when we're, right? Because they're all about that on a good boat like the Pacific Queen.
Oh, yeah. No way.
Well, it's one of those things. I mean, I was telling you, Phil, about like what I do with fishing clubs.
Yeah.
But fly lining, I mean, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people don't believe that it's something that's very proactive. You're constantly on the move.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I get it. You're deflated. The bait situation's not very good. You throw one out, the guy tangles you up, and you got to wind that thing in.
Yeah.
You start to see people slouching over. You actually have to fish this bait. Like I remember what Rollo used to say in his seminars. 90% of the fishing is done right at the reel. Right, so you actually you're very active and proactive.
Yeah, right.
It's not just backpedaling for the sake of backpedaling. You have to know exactly what it is that's going on. Yeah.
Yep. Very good.
There was guys next to us that were actually back to just to touch on some of the past questions, but there was actually some guys fly fishing that were next to us. And
Did they get bit?
Yeah.
That's
to
bitchin'.
see them catch Dorado in that matter, if that doesn't tell you that you could do it without bait, then I don't. Obviously, I'm not a fly fisherman. I don't know what the techniques they were using, but it was amazing to see. I'd imagine it was some kind of feather or,
little streamer,
something that they were using. Mm-hmm. But the guy would chum, he would throw the feather out into that part, and these guys were hooking up Dorado right there, right next to us.
Abraham Esparza went on the Pacifica 821. We did well on the bluefin and yellowfin. I think a total of 60 tuna. Guess what was on the tube in the galley? Friedman Adventures. I love the guys on the Pacifica. It's my new favorite boat now. Love you guys on the Pacifica. Mwah! Very good taste, those guys, don't you think?
I think so too.
Yeah, you're going to be on the Pacifica here pretty soon, it sounds like. Dan Smith, this is Kim talking to you, Anthony. 5'6" would be perfect.
Got you. No
Thank
problem.
you, Anthony. 5'6", a little short, isn't it?
Yeah, a little short, but if it depends. So my first thing I always tell everyone is if your boat, if your freeboard is out of the water line,
Right.
You got to compensate 3 feet to the water, 3 feet out. That's a 6-foot gaff. If you kind of go from there and just you're not going to use a 6-foot gaff on a Boston Whaler 17-foot Montauk, but you might want it on your Grady 22-foot. So something like that. Just whatever works best for you. Happy to make it the length that you want. And these Dorado are wiggle worms, you guys. And we went with the smaller gauge gaff yesterday, and we had better success than we did prior.
Excellent stuff, Anthony. I love this guy. A huge part of the Freeman Adventures family. You two guys look like you could use a cup of coffee. You ready? Oh, Anthony's running out for a second. All right, Ruben Lopez, what is the best knot for tying jigs on? I use a San Diego Jam.
That's what I use.
That's what I use.
Oh, there you are, Ruben.
Everybody in the room.
How long have we been talking?
Couple hours.
You got it this time, right on the nose. 2 hours. Starting to feel like it now, huh? AK the Sack, thanks to Daiwa and the Lexa 400, wife loves it. Her casting and hooking her own bait. She caught a Dorado yellowtail all by herself on our last overnight trip we went on. So good stuff, right?
Yep.
Uh-oh, Scott Buchert is back. Scott, have your ears burning? Or did you wander off and now you're back? How do you pick a jig out?
Well, I think we talked about this. I mean,
Indulge, Scott.
We can. There's so many options, but your offset eyes, offset hips. But if I were to just blindly go into a shop and just grab something, I probably would go off of weight. At least if we're talking about a 45, I'd probably go off of weight, and that's only because if you want a slower swimming jig, a lighter weight jig. A faster swimming jig, a heavier weight jig.
Yeah.
That's,
Perfect.
It's in a nutshell. That's how I would do it.
All right, perfect. Bear Chrome hooks work too, Ruben Lopez is saying.
Oh, for the Dorado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scott Buchert, the Ranger 85 had Philip on their. That's my new favorite boat. The Pacific is out. Yeah. No. I like both those guys now. That's awesome. All right, Eric S. Time to give up secrets. It's almost time. Where's Anthony? He left already.
Stepped outside.
All right, when he comes back, we'll do a trivia question, and then we're gonna have give the secret, and then we're gonna wind up the show. And what would be the appropriate way to wind the show? AC/DC or classical? what classical piece would you pick to take us out of the show?
I'm thinking more. We might have to step up to the Kenny G there, buddy.
Oh, Kenny did. We're no more Bach, huh?
There we go.
All right, Ruben Lopez, 106. Do we have 100? Oh, we have 117 likes now.
Perfect.
It's pretty good, man. Hey, Anthony.
Motivated him.
Anthony, right out here, my friend. You have a trivia question? What are we giving away? Joey, you
Yeah,
get
the
to
first
show
one for
everybody
sure, yeah.
out there.
So we got a pack of jigs here and a couple.
A big pack.
Couple lead jigs. Let's see. I don't know. It's got to be $100 worth of jigs.
At least, right?
Yeah.
$100 worth of jigs.
2 packs actually.
So get ready, everybody. Anthony is a student of the morning briefing. In fact, he knows more about the morning briefing than the guy who does the morning briefing.
He's gonna know.
Most of the time. We love this guy, and now he's going to ask a question, and the first one to answer it will be required to put your address
I don't
in
know
there
if we
so
should
we
go
know where to
harder
send it.
Harder to easier or easier to harder? I don't
I
know.
don't know.
All right.
Dean is the boat mechanic who works his tail off. Dean, do you want to come in and say hi on the camera or not?
Come on, Dean.
All right, Dean does not. He's too tired.
I don't need any more work.
Yeah, he's afraid somebody will call him and hire him. He doesn't need that. All right, 106 more likes. We got 120 likes.
We're doing 2 questions or
No, let's do one.
one right now?
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Later,
I love your question, so.
I got a hard one and an easy one. I just don't know how hard to go.
What
with these guys right
should he
now.
do, the hard one or the easy one? Jeff, hard or easy?
Hard. It's $100 worth of jigs.
Oh shit!
Well, he's got 2 questions, so.
Okay.
All right, here's the hard one.
All right.
Oh, we gotta get the phone.
Can you hear him
Yeah, I'd
okay,
actually
everybody?
write this one down.
Speak like you were speaking out there when you were talking to everybody, and we
All right.
could hear you from 6 blocks away.
4 days ago, when Phil did the morning briefing, I'll even give that out there. How many fish on the Polaris Supreme? It was a 3-day trip. How many fish were over 100 pounds? How
That-
many fish on the Polaris Supreme were over 100 pounds?
I think I know that. Any of those right? 60, 10.
No. Close.
Yeah.
Close, Travis.
Oh, you're giving hints now.
It's a hard question.
Yeah, you know what? It is a hard one. I do know the answer, I think. Tangle diver,
You-
50.
You said it specifically.
Yes, I did. Scott Buchert, 9. 35, 6. Albert Ponce, 50. Wrong, Albert. Joey B. Joey B. Real is
Yeah, I
watching
think I'm
this.
too.
37, 53. 42. Oh! 31, David Maestro. $100 worth of jigs. You are not listening to the morning briefing. I'm getting very upset. Look at all these answers coming in.
They're all over the
Oh
place.
my
They're
God.
close though. Some of them are close.
Come on, you get.
Is it too hard? I knew it was
No,
too
no,
hard.
it's not too hard. We're gonna keep going here. Come, I like this.
There it is,
Oh,
Travis!
Travis
Again.
again.
See?
Wow.
Well, he's going by Sam's store tomorrow,
Follower.
Oh,
and
True follower.
I'm
Atta
supposed
boy,
to-
Travis.
good job.
Travis, you want me to leave these at Sam's too, or is that okay with you?
Yeah. that's fine.
44.
Uh, all right. It was. I thought it was 41.
It was 44.
Okay.
That's a good
You know the answer.
Yeah.
Should he ask another one? Why not? Right?
Yeah.
All right. This
Yeah,
is
sure.
Travis. Travis.
Travis.
They're still they're still coming in. All right.
It was 44. 40. You guys can look back. It was 44. 44 fish.
I highly recommend you go back and listen to all the morning briefings, at least 36 times
At least
each.
36.
All right,
Hit the
Brian?
like button.
All right. I say, oh,
Mr. Travis. Oh, that's backwards, but yeah.
yeah, that's all right. Travis, good job. Travis is a great guy. In fact, if you watch this, you'll see his little daughter looking up at the TV and watching the
Oh,
whatever this is, the
awesome.
Freeman Adventure Show. Yeah. So it's a cute shot. Do you guys know Mark?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a good guy, right? And that was Scott Buchert there also. You know those 2 guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you got Paul.
All right. Everybody's saying congratulations to Travis. All right. You might as well do. You got an easy one now?
Yeah, easier one. Well, more recent one.
All right.
So it should be.
I hope it's
easier.
still hard.
Well,
That was a great.
That's what she
You
said.
like? I love your questions.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
See, I
So-
was wrong. I said 41.
I thought it was. No, I already know it's.
No, no.
44. I wrote
I'm
it down.
telling you, I was wrong.
All right, so you guys. Ooh, I got one off the top of my head.
Is it a tougher one?
No. Okay,
Here we go, everybody. Get ready.
a couple days ago.
Joey, can you do a
morning
drum roll over
briefing.
there? All right, perfect.
On the Ranger 85, the bite began. Now, if you can imagine this, the captain rolls up. The bite began at 2:30 a.m. 2:30 a.m. When did the bite stop?
Oh my God, that's a great question. That's a great question. Congrats. No, it wasn't it. 5 a.m. No, 10 a.m. 12:30. No, 1 p.m.
No.
8:30. Travis. Oh my God, Travis! Again, you blew it.
You blew it, Travis.
8 p.m. p.m.
Come on, morning briefing.
Israel says 8 a.m. Look at this.
Almost
It's going insane.
12 a.m. Midnight? Is that? No, that's
That's it.
You screwed up. That is not it. Midnight. Tangle diver. Midnight.
he did it. He hit it.
Who's Tangle diver?
13. Yeah, Tangle Diver, you got it. Midnight.
12 a.m. Oh, wait,
Oh,
did he
yeah.
say? That guy said 12 p.m.
12
I said
a.m.
AM, so that's it.
That's right.
it.
That's midnight, right? So he was the first
All
winner.
right,
Yeah.
I'll look back through the answers. It was midnight, you guys.
So it was the 12 a.m.
So from almost 2:30 in the morning, they fished all morning, all afternoon, all night,
Holy
and
moly.
then at 12 midnight they finally moved.
Were you on that trip?
Yep, I'm still sore.
So
Do you
there
want to come
go.
over and tell everybody
So,
about that?
Yes, please, because I
Jeff
had to
Yeoman,
make that a
540
question.
Slingers Club. Go right over there, Jeff. Put your arm around those two guys. You know, all this talk about Stars Cafe has been making them crazy.
I thought that was easy.
Are you in there? Yeah.
Am I in there?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, you can squeeze in there, can't you?
Yeah, we basically left the bait barge at H&M Landing
That's
at
perfect.
about 10 o'clock. Turned left, headed south. At 1 a.m., Captain Jimmy said, I just ran over a huge school. You guys get out of your bunks, get some coffee in you,
Wow.
and double check your gear, because the next school, I'm stopping. And yeah, 2:30, the first bluefin tuna was coming over the rail, and it just didn't stop.
Wow.
Scotty, thank you for all your hard work. You're gapping fish all through.
He
that
just said
time.
hello to you, by the
Hey,
way.
Scott.
Nice.
Scott Buchert gets 100%. You told me.
Oh,
Great
yeah.
customer service.
Worked his ass off.
Yeah.
Kept up. Was always at the rail, ready with the gap.
Good job, Scott.
And it just kept going. Chef Paul was bringing out chunks of fruit and things just to keep us hydrated. And
Yeah, in fact, you
Nurse.
you sent me a message and said this was not a fishing trip. This was a killing
it
trip.
was a
or-
killing spree.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the only reason we stopped at midnight was because the hold was plugged.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez. You know what's going to happen as a result of this? I'm going to be back on the Ranger 85 TV
There we
again.
go.
Yes. Good job, Jeff.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh, big ups to the crew.
So whoever put 12 a.m. by the way, before Jeff leaves, whoever put that needs to send us your address, or we got to figure that
Yeah,
out now
yeah.
before we
As good
get
as
off the air.
Either address
Yeah.
or I will bring it to Island Tackle.
Who put 12 a.m.? You win.
Yeah.
You got before the midnight guy, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Okay, because I couldn't figure out
I'll
the
look
difference
back
between
wrong.
12
I could-
p.m. and 12
I could
a.m.
ship it for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I could ship that one.
Who put
Jimmy's
12
not
a.m.?
there.
Please put your address in there. All right, is it time? I mean, I hate to end this.
I know.
I really do. I could go till 3 o'clock in the morning,
Today was great.
and that's when Stars Cafe opens. So we just choom right over. No, I'm
You guys
just.
got 122 now.
Oh my God, we're kicking butt. Are you gonna share this secret?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
do
have
Brian
time
and I
to-
need to leave the room or anything? Or
I'm only going to share this with the Freeman Adventure family.
you know
So-
what? This camera angle is way better.
I'm sorry.
It's way better.
Oh, my bad.
That's good.
All right.
It's way
Yeah.
better. Thank you. Yeah, why didn't we do God, you know what? Tell Danny he's fired.
Eric
Should have been like this the whole time.
Oh,
Oh, by the way, before you do this, if you want to talk to Brian, this is his info right here.
Yep.
So you can reach Brian, and you do Medicare, right, for old guys like me?
I do. But I also do something, take it a little step further here. I work with fishing clubs. I'd be happy to come out and talk to any of the fishing clubs in Southern California. I have 4 workshops that I've created for the fishing clubs, and all of which the fly lining one that I've been kind of impressed that that's the most popular one. But I talk to the fishing clubs, and I want to help I'm promoting fishing is what I'm doing, and by promoting fishing, I'm going out and teaching people how to build that fundamental skill of certain techniques in these workshops. So
Are we doing something on September 8th?
I don't know
Like
about
the
we, I
Redondo?
know, yeah,
I was invited
yeah.
with Sam.
There you go.
So you're doing something?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just showing up.
Yeah, so after your show after the last show that
Yeah.
was on, they emailed me and wanted me to come out and speak
All right,
to
well,
their
I'll see you
club.
there.
Yeah.
It's in Redondo?
It's in Redondo, and yeah, but
Oh, really? The Redondo Hunting Club is in Redondo?
Redondo Rod
I'm
and
really a
Gun
smart
Club.
guy, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so if anybody, if there's any fishing clubs out there, if you guys learned a lot from our show tonight, I can certainly do that at your fishing club, and then of course I can do that for your Medicare needs as well.
Excellent. I'm going to have to talk to you about that because I have no
Absolutely.
idea
Yeah.
about any of that
That's my
stuff.
website. You can contact me through there, www.mhlis.com.
All right, and one thing, two things. Number one, the guy that put 12 a.m. was Scott Buchard. Now, is that fair?
No.
He was the deckhand.
No.
He's out. So the other guy that put midnight is the guy who wins,
right.
right? You can't win that, Scott. You're the deckhand, right?
That's right.
And
He was on the boat, yeah.
yeah, what the
Don't
hell?
worry, Scott. I got something for you, man.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't mention what it is on air. All right, and one more thing: thoughts and prayers for Captain Eddie Leland.
Yes.
Eddie's going through a very tough time, and he's very courageous, and I love him a lot. And so, thoughts and prayers from
Yes.
all of us, the Brotherhood of Fishermen, the Freedmen Adventure
man.
family.
We wish him the best.
You know him very well. I was working as a bartender at the Speedway, which is Harley Davidson motorcycle races.
Yeah.
And this family walked up to me, and they remembered Eddie and I were on. It was a funeral or a celebration of life on a boat, and Eddie went out, and the idea was the guy that passed away wanted his nephews to go fishing, never got to take them. And so, guess who caught the first fish on the boat? His nephew. And Eddie was there to cheer him on, and they
That's nice.
came by and said, "Hey, do you remember me?" And yeah, I go, "I do." And hey, where's Eddie Lee? And you tell him thank you. This kid, the nephew was there. He's a great kid, and so that's kind of the way. So
I remember meeting him at your the Sunday lunch event.
Yeah.
He and I talked like we've known each other for 40 years.
yeah,
And it was just
that's the kind of
good
guy he
man.
is.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, so I think it's time to do the thing, right? Why am I distracted? All right, we're gonna give the most insane tackle tip you have ever
I
heard.
don't know about insane.
Well, these people have been waiting
Okay,
2 hours. It
well,
better be good.
Okay, well, a lot we've touched on it. A lot of people say, well, how come? I bought a jig and all it does is go left, right, left, right, left, right. It doesn't have that kick out,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't have that magic rollover kick as it's going through the water. Well,
Some do.
some do and some don't, right?
Right.
But wouldn't it be nice if all of them did?
Yeah.
Stay tuned for next week's show.
Oh, perfect.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right, everybody, thanks for joining us. It's been great.
No, but I ask people, do you know what's the one thing that you can adjust on this lure without physically changing it? What's the one thing that you guys
Jeff,
can
I'll ask you
control
first.
that that you can
Silence.
control?
Anthony?
We're not talking about speed.
one.
We're not talking.
Yeah.
We're talking about physically. What can we do to this thing?
I know,
Oh,
Phil.
the angle.
Remove the lead warning sticker. I wish.
That's
true.
That's one.
All right.
I'd love to have that removed.
Yeah, really.
Here's the thing. We all want that jig to do that magic kick out, right?
Yeah.
As it's going through the water, left, right, boom, roll over. Pay attention to where you tie your
The knot.
line to your jig.
Tight on the solder.
Well,
Or-
so every jig is different, right? So a lot of people believe that you grab the weld and you're doing this, or oh, this jig swings great, right? I don't see this jig kicking off or binding at all, right?
Right.
It's just spinning like a top.
That's my mind. Yeah.
Now, you do this, and it's gonna see how it grabbed right there.
Yeah.
You see
Yep.
how it's grabbing. That's gonna give you that kickoff
Oh.
that you're looking for.
You almost
Now,
want to grab.
you also have to pay attention to the speed of your retrieve. Not always when now. I personally, I personally like to tie my line. That'd be 90 degrees to the weld, is what I like. I don't want the weld inside of the lure. I want it just outside of it, and that way it's doing that left, right. It'll catch it every once in a while, not every time, but that once in a while thing. And that's oftentimes, you'll see a jig swim, bam, bam, it's going left, right, and it does that magic kickoff. That's when you get bit, right? It's always that erratic action from, it looks like a sardine that's being chased through the water, and it's scared, right?
Yeah.
So
what a tip.
Why not try to mimic that?
Exactly. Great tip, I must say. You guys know Eric Sheets?
No.
Yeah, no kidding. Eric, by the way.
Long story short, I met him in Mexico.
Uh-oh. Is there any kind of a weird thing
He
here?
was staying next door. Let's just say thank God.
Eric, we got to get you in here with Cal, right? We got to get you in here. We've been talking about that for way too long. It's time to do it. We definitely got to do it.
Something run by.
What was it? A roach?
A Hawaiian fly.
Oh. All right. So we'll do a few more questions, and then I'll let you guys escape. Eric Sheet says the hardest thing to remove is that lead poisoning thing on there. Yeah.
I wish I didn't have to do it.
Knot placement, aka the sack, tie off the weld, says Eric Sheets. Eric Sheets says, "Atta boy, worth 2 hours of my time tonight." Right on.
Thanks, Eric.
Old school, wow, that was great. These people are loving it. Tuna North, Go Gone gets those lead warnings. Gone.
Yeah. Oh, but be careful though. A lot of guys have been complaining about they're putting acetone trying to get the stickers off. It's eating the paint. So maybe don't use acetone.
Well, how about peanut butter? Somebody's up here saying Big Duke X says peanut butter removes label with ease.
I would try that before I use acetone.
All right, there you go. Eric Sheet says soon we're going to do a podcast.
There you go.
Yeah, that would be great, I would think.
Well, his family has a legacy for
Right.
how long?
Right.
Making or blueprinting reels.
Yeah, exactly. AKA the Sack says great show, guys. So is there a website for Taddy or?
Instagram and social media, Facebook.
Right, I know. I see you guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
Do you run that, or do you have
I
somebody
do.
doing
I
that?
do.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when I tag you, you go, "Oh
Yep.
God, he's tagging me again." Why is he doing that? There's Flynn Robinson, by the way, the guy who took to Mexico I told you about.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was him. Great show. Again, what can I say?
Thank
Right?
you for having us, and thank you everybody for tuning in. It really means a lot to us.
We have a lot of fun doing this, and we hope
Yeah.
that the information that we provide, it's helpul.
Yeah, absolutely. Anthony, come in here,
Yeah.
and because you're
Anthony, come in here
Anthony, you
and
got
take
that
this roach
camera
for us.
angle, the best angle that we've ever had here. Anthony, step up here where people can see. Oh, they can see you because you got the angle right. Thank you so much for everything you do
Yeah, man.
for the
I'm
show.
going fishing tomorrow. Maybe we'll do a live show when I get back.
that'd be neat.
I'll be down in Dana Point doing just strictly Dorado fishing. So
And you're going just with your wife.
just with my wife.
Why don't you guys come by for the buffet tomorrow night?
We'll try. Hopefully, if we have
That's at
something to
7:30
bring,
here. No, you don't have to bring it. We got everything. In fact, Ernie Montano is up there right now. So he's a paying passenger tomorrow night. And I put out a buffet in here before our trip, sandwiches and everything. So he called, you know what he says? Hey, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to bring drinks for everybody, sandwiches for everybody, chips for everybody.
That's nice of him.
Freeman family member. Great guy. Yeah.
I've never been on the Relentless. I couldn't make it still because and didn't know if I was going to be able to have it fixed, but I will be on the Relentless trip and really look forward to throwing those poppers and doing some of that San Diego fishing. Hopefully we'll get some yellowfin by the time that comes
That's
around.
your trip, Phil?
Yeah.
Relentless trip?
Yeah,
Never
we're
been on
doing.
that boat, so I'm really looking forward
Don't
to
move. You can stay right there. We got to answer. We never leave a question on the board.
Okay.
We keep going.
Okay.
You're like, get me out of here. I've had enough. 2.5 hours is long enough. Oh my God, there is a big old roach walking up the wall. You see that thing?
He flew in there. It's full moon
You
out.
see it?
I didn't, but
It's right there, man. Look, he's on that string on that TV.
yeah, buddy.
Look at him.
it's like a pterodactyl.
Man, it's a big one. All right, Albert Yee, thanks for sharing. Telling you. Dan Smith, great show. Thank you, Anthony. Let us know
Thank you.
if you need anything. I sent Phil my email on Facebook.
Oh, Dan, yeah.
Albert Ponce, great show, guys. Thank you for sharing. Roland, Great show, folks. Best way to spend a Tuesday evening besides being on the water. 51 Soriano, great tip. I'm going to head out to Redondo and cast my jigs using the tip that you gave, Joey. AKSX, you guys killed it tonight. Good luck tomorrow, Phil. Thank you so much. Big Duke X, another awesome show. Keep them rolling, Phil. It's not me, it's my guests. And with great guests like this, you can't get any better. Mike Perez says, that's a San Pedro. I'm supposed to say Pedro sometimes. Somebody chewed me out for saying Pedro. You should say Pedro. San Pedro cricket. That's a San Pedro cricket. Maybe it is. All right. Hey, you guys are awesome. Thanks again.
Thanks, Phil.
All right.
Thank you, Phil. Appreciate
Joey,
everything.
thank you for dinner tonight.
Oh, anytime.
Don't move. Stay right here while we say goodbye to everybody. RG Butt, hook the roach and throw it off the dock. Anthony, you're going to have to do that. I'll videotape you doing
We're
it.
going to get a bass right now.
Don Emilio, all right, guys, waiting for the morning briefing tomorrow morning. I'll be back with you all in just a few more hours. Daniel Leanos loved the show. For all of us here at Freedman Adventures, for Joey, for my dear friend Brian, for Anthony, who's part of it, and Jeff Yeoman's hiding over there, 540 Slingers.
Right.
For Scott Buchert, who thought he won the prize.
My wife looked
What a
up.
rat fang.
I said, we got to change it.
All right. Thanks, everybody. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate
We'll
it.
see you again tomorrow morning. Morning briefing will be at you. We'll be live tomorrow night at our buffet. Before we jump on the Amiga, we'll have a live show for you for a little while. Thanks again, guys.
Good fishing, guys.
All right. And if you could walk over there and push that
That's
X
it.
at the
My
top.
favorite one to do.
Goodbye, everybody. Say goodbye,
night, guys.
ladies and
Thank you.
gentlemen.